Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman who today brings the exciting hunt for buried treasure to a somewhat successful end, unaware that meanwhile, more serious trouble is brewing in Metropolis for his friends. When Pierre, the caretaker of Perry White's old homestead in Maine, admitted to Superman that he was a black market operator and that the four dwarfs were his helpers, only part of the mystery in the woods was solved. Then Peter and Paul, the two elder dwarfs, confessed that they had stolen a map from White showing where $1 million in English money was supposedly buried, but insisted that the map was in the possession of their brothers Jacob and Esau. Locking the three conspirators in a cabin, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, led White and Jimmy to a cave near the sea where they found the midget twins Jacob and Esau unconscious. A newly dug hole in the floor of the cave disclosed an ancient rusty treasure chest which was empty. As we continue now, Kent is kneeling anxiously beside the motionless dwarfs, while White and Jimmy stand by nervously. Suddenly, one of the little men moves.
Oh, he's alive.
They're both alive, Jim.
Oh, that's swell.
Oh, is it? Well, where's the $1 million in gold? The chest's empty. They stole it.
Oh, I'm sure they didn't. They're good dwarfs. Peter and Paul are the bad ones.
They're all bad. If you ask me...
Wait a minute, he's trying to talk.
Where?
Take it easy now. Which one is he, Jim?
I think he's Jacob.
Well, how can you tell? They're as alike as two peas in a pod.
Oh, my head.
Oh, never mind your head. What happened? Where's my treasure?
Oh, treasure? Oh, dear, the treasure. Oh, Esau, don't let him take it. Esau, stop, Salvador, stop.
Huh?
Salvador.
Sure, don't you remember? Jacob and Esau told us they were working with a man named Salvador.
Oh, yeah.
What about Salvador, Jacob?
Why, it's Mr. Kent.
That's right.
And Mr. White, Master Olson. Oh, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me,
Oh,
please
we won't,
don't.
Jacob.
No, we won't if you tell us the truth. Now, where's my treasure? You found it here, didn't you?
Yes, we...
There, you see, Kent?
Oh, what happened to Esau?
Same thing had happened to you, apparently. He was hit on the head, but he'll be all right. Now, what happened to the treasure?
Salvador. That terrible Salvador did it. He came in just when we dug up all the lovely money. He wanted us to give it to him, but we wouldn't. Then
Just a minute. Where did Salvador go, Jacob?
Where?
Yes.
I don't know. Back to his ship, maybe. Oh, all the lovely money.
What ship?
His fishing schooner.
Kent, we've got to contact the Coast Guard and have this Salvador picked up. He's in the gang, and he's got the treasure.
My $250,000. Hey, where's the telephone?
No, we're miles from a telephone in these woods. That fellow will get away.
No, he won't. You both stay here.
Well, where are you going, Kent? I tell you, there's no telephone within miles.
Don't worry. I've got a little idea. Stay right there now. I'll be back soon.
Oh, Kent, you come back here. You're crazy.
Here we are. Behind these trees will do. Now, out of these clothes in a hurry. If Salvador owns a fishing schooner, he must have headed for it. And Superman will find him. There we are, all set. Up and away! Now, that's Pirate's Cove down there. And, yes, there is an anchored fishing schooner. Well, I'll just go to... Wait a minute. There's a rowboat going out to the schooner. And a black-bearded man in it. I've got a hunch that's Salvador. Down to that rowboat. Down!
Oh, what the...
You're Salvador, I believe.
Yes, well, who are you? Where'd you come from?
From a certain cave, my friend, where you... I see you've got a large sack here full of English gold crowns. I'll take that if you don't mind.
No, keep your hands off.
Come on.
Let me go. You...
Now, here we go. Wait a minute. There aren't 200,000 English pounds in this sack.
So what? Let me go, I said.
Nothing doing. We're going back to the cave. Up and away!
Clutching the terrified black-bearded ruffian under his arm, Superman streaks back to the cave in the woods where he had left Perry White and Jimmy Olsen, only to discover as he lands at the entrance that Salvador, his human cargo, has fainted from sheer fright. Ducking back into the woods, Superman assumes the guise of Clark Kent and again approaches the cave, calling to White and Jimmy.
Chief! Jimmy! Come on out!
Oh, leaping lizards, what's happened?
Come on out and you'll see.
Jehovah. Who's that man on the ground?
Salvador, in person.
Well, where'd you find him?
Never mind that now. I've got some bad news for you, Chief.
The gold. The $1 million. It's gone.
Oh, no, not quite. It was never there, so it can't be gone.
Well, what do you mean? Now, stop talking around in bushes.
What?
I mean beating in around in circles. Oh, you know what I mean.
Well, it's very simple. Someone made a mistake on that map. It wasn't 200,000 pounds in English money. It was 2,000 pounds. $10,000, roughly.
Well, how do you know?
I'm quite sure of it. However, there is enough in this sack to buy Jimmy's mother a house And that's what really counts, doesn't it?
Oh, I suppose so. All this trouble for $10,000.
Oh, it's gonna look like $1 million to my mother, Mr. White.
And now what about this black-bearded bandit? What about Pierre and the two no-good dwarfs?
I will take the whole kit and caboodle of them back to town and turn them over to the sheriff.
Well, what about the two in the cave? The good ones?
Oh, they're coming back with us to Metropolis.
What?
I'm gonna get them jobs in my aunt's circus.
Good boy, Jim.
Well, let's get started then. I want a hot bath, a decent bed to sleep in, and no more excitement for a year.
Well, the bath and the bed we can guarantee, Chief, but the excitement's another matter. There's no telling when that's going to crop up.
Yes, Clark, you're right. There is no telling. In fact, even at this very moment, something is happening in Metropolis that will make your Northwoods adventure seem like child's play. A new and much greater danger is slowly taking shape and form. Someone very close to you is in the shadow of death. While Superman was winding up the mystery of the Northwoods, a strange scene boding serious danger for the Man of Steel and his friends is taking place. In Playland, an amusement park on the outskirts of Metropolis, a wooden conical structure built to resemble a small lighthouse stands beside a concession known as the River of Horrors. Inside the false lighthouse is a single dark circular room, windowless and lit dimly by one shaded lamp. In an armchair beside the lamp sits a heavy-set, middle-aged man, dressed in well-tailored clothes and wearing a massive signet ring glittering on his right hand. His few remaining thin gray hairs are combed carefully across a large, well-shaped head, and in appearance he could well pass for a prosperous banker or doctor. Now his regular but heavy features are set in a twisting scowl, and his deeply pouched small eyes, set under almost hairless brows, flash angry fire at the pretty dark-haired girl who sits in a chair across from him, her manicured fingers playing nervously with strings of cheap pearls which fall in many loops over a flashy red dress. She's waiting for another outburst from the heavy-set man, and soon it comes.
You're a fool, Dixie. Stupid, ignorant fool. Wouldn't endanger all of us. I'd willingly turn you over to the police. Let you pay for your stupidity in the electric chair.
Please don't talk that way, Dr. Bly. I couldn't help what I'd done. When this dumb dick makes a pass at me,
You shot him. You shot a federal officer. You know what that means?
Yeah, sure. But I had to leave him have it. When I saw this dick waiting for me in the hotel lobby, and he says to me like the jig is up, Miss Dixie Lamar, I believe. Well, I just lost my head.
Yes, obviously.
Well, I had my gun in my bag, and my hand just naturally pulled it out, and, well, I left him have it.
With a dozen people in the lobby to see you and identify you. How many times have I told you not to carry a gun? And haven't I drilled and drilled into you that if you're ever arrested to go along peaceably?
Yeah, I know. Doc, I lost my head.
Your head would be no great loss. It's my head that's in danger now. And others who are valuable to me. If the police get you, I'm ruined. Ruined, do you understand?
How about me? I'm the one with the murder rap. I'm the one who'll burn if they nab me.
A small loss indeed. Oh, why did I ever get mixed up with an empty head like you?
Because you needed me to help you catch the suckers for your phony oil stock racket, that's why. I did my share. Now you've got to get me out of this mess.
Yes, of course, but how? We can't keep you locked up in this amusement park for more than another week. Closes for the season on the 15th, you know.
It does. Gee, what'll we do?
Hi, Gates.
Who's that?
Take it easy, relax. It's me.
Oh, it's only Happy.
What's the idea, Happy? Why didn't you give the knock before you unlocked the door?
Hold everything, Doctor. I got no time for knocking on doors. Me, I'm cooking with gas. Did I say gas? I mean that stuff in the atom bombs. What I mean is I'm hot, see?
Oh, look, this ain't no time for jitterbug and jive, Happy.
We're in trouble. Serious trouble.
Ain't I hip to that, boss? Sure I am. So that's why I'm waltzing in with this.
With what?
This newspaper here. Dig what you see here. Dig it good, Jackson.
Will you stop waving that newspaper in front of my face, you oaf?
Go on, Doctor. Dig that paper. Look at the dream puss right there. See? Who does she look like, huh?
Well,
Right there.
good heavens. They've got a picture of Dixie in the Daily Planet.
My picture? No, they couldn't.
Relax, sister. Let your hair down. You too, Doctor. What's left of your hair, I mean. Read what it says under the picture of the slick chick. Go on.
Miss Lois Lane, star reporter of the Daily Planet, to her address.
Lois Lane.
This isn't Dixie.
It ain't? Let me see.
Course it ain't, but this newspaper, Dolly's a dead ringer for you, baby. I says to myself when I see it, I says, this is schmaltzy. There ought to be something here, Happy, old mellow man. Show it to the doc, the big-time operator. He's smart. He'll dig the lowdown on it, I says.
Miss Lois Lane is a double for you, Dixie.
Yeah. I'd swear she was me.
Yes. So will all those witnesses who saw you shoot the federal man. I've got it.
Got what, Doc?
You dig something, Jackson?
I see the way out of our difficulty. Yes. All our troubles are over. Why, this is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Chuckling, the man known as Dr. Bly looks gloatingly at the photograph of Lois Lane in the Daily Planet. What is in his cunning mind? What sinister scheme is he preparing for the unsuspecting Lois? A cunning trap is being set for the girl reporter, Lois Lane. While Superman was solving the strange mystery of the dwarfs in the North Woods, a sinister plot was being prepared against Lois Lane. In danger because one of his criminal gang, a girl called Dixie Lamar, has shot and killed a federal agent, Dr. Bly, leader of the gang, was hiding out with Dixie and Happy, one of his henchmen, in an amusement park in Metropolis. The situation looked hopeless until he saw a photograph of Lois Lane in the Daily Planet. Then the cunning brain of Dr. Bly conceived a daring scheme. As we continue now, in the imitation lighthouse which fronts the River of Horrors concession at the amusement park, the middle-aged, distinguished-looking gang leader who has been gazing at Lois's picture suddenly exclaims,
This is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Dixie, your worthless life is saved. And all our troubles are over.
Oh, yeah? I don't get it. What gives?
What's the pitch, Doc? Come on, beat it out.
I imagine even you, Happy, have heard it said that everyone has a double somewhere in the world. Someone else who looks exactly like him or her.
Like doubles in the movies.
Exactly. Your double Dixie is right here in Metropolis.
Huh? You mean this reporter, Lois Lane?
Right. Look at her photo. Don't you think she's a dead ringer for Dixie?
Yeah.
So what? Just because she looks like me, I don't
Hey,
see
wait. I think I dig you, Doc. You mean we tip the cops this Lane dilly is Dixie, and before they have that they've got the wrong tomato, we make a getaway, huh?
Well, you almost guessed it, Happy, but you didn't go far enough. We grab Miss Lane and pass her off to the police as Dixie. But we don't stop there. We make it stick.
Huh?
Simply by proving that Miss Lane, who was a double for Dixie Lamar, murdered the federal officer. Then Miss Lane goes to the chair, and we can proceed with the big plans I've arranged for us.
Gee, Duck, you're wonderful.
Wait a minute. Hold it. I don't dig you. You say we prove Miss Lane really is Dixie?
Precisely.
Well, how are we going to do that?
Say, that's right, we can't. All Miss Lane has to do is identify herself and the jig is up.
Oh, no, it's not quite so simple.
Sure it is. She's an important dame. As soon as she proves she's Miss Lane, she'll have a million foolproof alibis.
And me, I'm back in the chair again.
Just leave everything to me. I have a plan, and it can't fail.
Come on, give. What's this big caper you're cooking?
Yeah, after all, I'm the one who's
It
gonna...
will be better if you just do as I tell you and learn about it as the plan develops. And there won't be any danger of leaks. Or of Dixie losing her stupid head again.
Oh, lay off, will you, please?
What do you want us to do, Doc?
The first thing to do is to get Miss Lane down here, and as soon as possible. The FBI and the police are combing Metropolis for Dixie, and we've got to move fast.
Leave that to me, boss. I'll bring it to you.
No, not your way, Happy. It's too cruel. Let me see. Something occurred to me before. Oh, yes. I have it. Dixie.
Yeah?
There's a phone book there. Look up the number of the Daily Planet.
Okay. That's a newspaper, huh?
Yes. Now, Happy, that brother-in-law of yours, the one who owns this River of Horrors concession, how far can he be trusted?
Archie, he's strictly a solid cinder.
If I translate that silly jive talk correctly, you mean he can be trusted, right?
You hear me talking? And besides, he don't dare cross me up on account he knows if he just tried.
Spare me the horrific details. Haven't you found the number yet, Dixie?
Yeah. Here it is, Doc. Daily Planet, Central 20400.
Central 20400. Good. Get it for me.
Okay.
While I'm talking, both of you keep quiet. Understand?
Great. If Dixie just opens her kisser, I'll slap it shut for her.
You just lay a finger on me, you daffy jitterbug, and I'll...
Shut up, you fools. Give me that phone.
Daily Planet.
I'd like to speak with Miss Lois Lane.
Just a minute. I'll ring her.
Remember, not a word out of you two.
Lois Lane speaking.
Miss Lane, this is the press agent for Playland, the famous amusement park, you know.
Playland. Oh, yes.
You probably know that we have celebrity nights here several times a month, at which time we select the outstanding man or woman in his or her particular field or profession.
Really?
Yes, we name the night in their honor and present this celebrity to the great crowd at Playland.
I see.
Permit them to see the famous person they've read and heard so much about. Now, for tonight, Miss Lane, we've selected you.
Well, that's fine. I think that... Who, me?
Yes, we've chosen you as the outstanding newspaper reporter of Metropolis, and we hereby invite you to Lois Lane night at Playland.
Well, that's quite an honor, but I...
No, don't be so modest, Miss Lane. Everyone has heard about you and is anxious to see you. Now, I realize we're not giving you much advance notice, but we do hope you can arrange to be here tonight to meet your loyal public.
I'm certainly very flattered, Mr.
Hemingway, Robert Hemingway.
Mr. Hemingway, but I have an engagement for this evening.
I'm sure you can postpone your engagement for such an important occasion as this, Miss Lane. You have no idea how much you're admired and respected.
Oh, now.
And how eager the young people are to see you, especially those who hope to be journalists and follow in your footsteps. Your appearance will be a great inspiration to them.
Well, when you put it that way, it's hard to refuse.
You'll appear tonight, then.
Well, yes, I'll be there.
That's splendid. I'll send a car for you.
That won't be necessary. Now that gas restrictions are lifted, I'm driving my own car again. What time do you want me there?
Shall we say 8 o'clock?
Good, I'll be there at 8. And thank you very much, Mr. Hemingway.
Thank you, Miss Lane. I'll meet you at the park gate at 8 o'clock. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
It worked, huh, boss?
She fell for the gag?
They went for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, boy, are you a smoothie, Doc. Yeah, but look it. What are you going to do when she gets here?
I am going to arrange that now. Come on, Happy.
Okay, boss.
Yeah.
You
but
stay here,
what
Dixie.
about-
Don't dare try to leave this room.
Don't worry. With every cop in Metropolis looking for me, I wouldn't poke my nose out of this phony lighthouse for love or money.
We'll take no chances. Knock the door, Happy.
Okay, Doc.
Now, take him to your brother-in-law.
Sure, this way. He's around in front of the ticket booth.
His small, deeply pouched eyes gleaming in his heavy, colorless face, Dr. Bly follows Happy through the gay crowds to set his trap for Lois Lane. Shortly after Lois Lane had accepted Dr. Bly's invitation to be guest of honor at Playland that evening, Clark Kent, Perry White, and Jimmy Olsen returned to the Daily Planet from the Maine woods. In Lois's office now, with Kent looking on, Jimmy is completing a vivid description of their experiences to the girl reporter.
And Peter and Paul, they're the bad dwarfs, are in jail with Pierre and Salvador. And Jacob and Esau...
They're the good dwarfs, Jim.
That's right. They're on their way to my Aunt Isabel and Cousin Ginger's circus. I got 'em jobs there. And get this, Miss Lane. Mr. White gave me all the buried treasure. It comes to almost $10,000.
Why, Jim.
And I'm going to build or buy a house for my mother with it.
Well,
Pretty nice of the chief, eh, Lois?
it certainly is, Clark. But I don't understand this. I thought the map said there was $1 million in buried treasure, and Jim's share was to be 1/4 of it.
Well, the pirates, or whoever buried the treasure in Pirates Cove a long time ago, either made a mistake in counting, or else they came back and removed most of the treasure after they'd buried it.
Oh.
What's happened with you while we were gone, Lois? Anything exciting?
Well, I didn't get a scoop while you were gone, but something else very nice happened to me.
I did?
What's that, Lois?
Oh, that would be telling. You'll find out in due time.
Oh, come on, tell us, Miss Lane.
Not yet.
Prefer to be mysterious, huh?
Uh-huh. But I'll tell you this much, Clark.
What?
When you find out about it, you'll realize that you're not as great a reporter as you think you are.
Is that so? Well, now, what makes you say that?
Just a minute, excuse me, that's my phone. Lois Lane
Mr.
speaking.
Kent there, Miss Lane?
Yes, he is.
Please tell him Mr. White wants to see him right away.
Okay, certainly. Chief wants you, Clark.
Oh, thanks. Don't go away. I want to hear more about this mysterious thing.
Oh, now, come on, Miss Lane. Tell me what gives.
I'll tell you what, though, Jim. I'll give you a chance to find out.
What do you mean?
How would you like to go to Playland this evening?
Playland?
Mhm.
Oh, sure, you bet. They got a terrific giant roller coaster there, and... Uh-oh, I forgot. I got a date with Dick Grayson.
Dick Grace? Oh, the boy we found in the boat that time.
That's right. Dick's a swell guy, but every time I tell him something about Superman, he comes back at me with something he heard or read about Batman.
Oh, Jim.
So when we landed at the airport this afternoon, I called him up and made a date to have dinner with him tonight. When I tell him what Superman did up in the North Woods, maybe he'll pipe down about Batman for a while.
I see. Well, look. Maybe Dick would like to come to Playland with us.
Hey, I'll bet he would. I'll tell you what. I'm supposed to meet him at the Y in a few minutes.
Yes?
We were going to take a swim and then go to dinner. Why don't I get him and meet you for dinner? Oh, of course, you'll be our guest.
Well, we'll argue about the guest part later. You go ahead. You get Dick and meet me downstairs in 15 minutes. I'll pick up my car first.
Okay. Gee, that's swell, Miss Lane.
Hey, what's all the
Oh, I
rush?
can't tell you now. See you later, Mr. Kent.
What the... What goes on here, Lois?
I haven't time to explain, Clark. I've got to rush, too.
Oh, wait a minute. What's the hurry? Big day?
Oh, if you only knew.
I only knew what. What is all this mystery tonight?
You'll find out.
You said that before,
And
but
I say it again. So long, Clark.
Oh, so long.
See you in jail.
Yeah, sure. You'll see me... What?
Jail. You know, the place with the iron bars and the men in blue coats and brass buttons. So long.
Oh, wait, Lois. Look, I want to know what... Well, now, how do you like that? What in the world goes on here, I wonder?
Perplexed, Kent takes a step as if to follow Lois, then changes his mind, unaware that he is permitting Lois and Jimmy also to walk into serious danger. The sinister jaws of Dr. Bly's trap are about to snap shut. Will they catch Lois? And what of Jimmy and Dick Grayson, who is in reality Robin, youthful companion of the famous Batman? A gang of criminals endangered because one of their members, a girl named Dixie Lamar, had shot a federal agent, is hiding out at Playland, an amusement park in Metropolis.
Discovering from a newspaper photograph that Lois Lane is almost a perfect double for Dixie Lamar, Dr. Bly, the cunning leader of the gang, conceived a scheme of having Lois pay for Dixie's crime. Posing as Mr. Hemingway, a press agent, Dr. Bly phoned Lois and invited her to appear at Playland that night as a guest of honor. Flattered, Lois accepted and asked Jimmy Olsen and young Dick Grayson, who is really Robin, Batman's companion, to accompany her. But wishing Clark Kent to be surprised when he read of the honor accorded her, Lois told him nothing, just made several mysterious remarks to him as she left. As we continue now, in the Daily Planet City room, Kent is questioning Beanie Martin, the copy boy. Listen.
Beanie, did anything unusual occur around here while Mr. White, Jim, and I were in Maine?
Unusual?
Yes.
Well, let's see, Mr. Kent. Well, the Dodgers lost a couple of more ball games, but I guess that ain't very unusual.
No, I guess not. Anyway, I mean in the office, Beanie. Did anything, out of the ordinary happen? Something to do with Miss Lane?
Nothing that I know about. Why?
Well, I don't know. Miss Lane made a funny remark a few minutes ago. Something about the fact that I was going to find out that I'm not nearly as good a reporter as I think I am.
Well, say, maybe she got a tip on some big story and she's going to scoop you on it.
I was thinking of that, but she said something had happened while the chief and Jim and I were in Maine, and...
I think she was just trying to get your goat, like she's always doing.
Well, maybe.
Sure. I heard her kidding you, saying she'd see you in jail.
Yes, that was odd, too. I never heard her use that expression before.
Well, she was kidding, see? Like when somebody says, I'll be suing you, or don't take any wooden nickels.
It could be, but I got to see the chief now. Thanks very much, Beanie. You're probably right.
Relieved, but still faintly puzzled, Clark Kent proceeds to Perry White's office. Meanwhile, at the wheel of her roadster, with Jimmy Olsen and young Dick Grayson beside her, Lois Lane is driving along River Road toward Playland, whose tall spires and multitude of lights glitter gaily in the night sky.
Look, Miss Lane. Look, Dick. You can see Playland now.
Uh-huh.
Looks gay, doesn't it, Jim?
Uh-huh. I like bright lights.
Just a city boy at heart.
Oh, I like the country, too, but bright lights always do something to me. Hey, look, Dick. There are the towers of the giant coaster. Boy, is that a wicked ride.
Yeah. Well, Dick doesn't seem very interested.
Well, he keeps looking back down the road. Hey, wake up, dummy. Playland's ahead of us, not behind.
I know, but he's still following us.
Huh?
What did you say, Dick?
The little skinny fellow with the big ears, he's still following us.
Following us?
Well, what little skinny fella? Where?
In that sedan right behind us. He's been following us ever since we left the restaurant.
He has?
Are you sure, Dick?
Yes. I didn't mention it before, Miss Lane, because I wanted to make sure he was following us. I noticed him in the restaurant when we were having dinner. He kept watching us. And as soon as we got up, he did, too.
Oh, but that doesn't mean that
His car was parked across the street from the restaurant. As soon as we started, he made a U-turn and been trailing us ever since.
Holy mackerel, what's he trailing us for?
I don't know. There, see? He took the same turn we did.
Yeah, he did.
Now, look, has it occurred to either of you that the gentleman might be going to Playland, too? Thousands of people go there, you know.
Oh, sure, but Dick says he was in the same restaurant
Now, Jim,
with us.
the Blue Heron is a very popular restaurant. You may not have noticed, but there were quite a few other people eating there.
He's following us, I tell you. I know. Batman and I have been followed plenty of times.
Batman and you?
I read so much about Batman and Robin, I can just about tell what it feels like to be trailed.
Oh, now, Dick, after all.
Listen to him. You better watch out, Dick. You read so much about Batman and Robin, first thing you know, you'll start to think you're Robin.
That would be funny, wouldn't it?
You can say that again, brother. Oh, Dick's villain wants to pass us, Miss Lane.
I hear him. Well, what do you say now, Dick? It looks like he's going to stop trailing.
Look out, Miss Lane.
He's cutting in.
Look out! Pull over! Golly. Gee.
Okay, he's gone. Oh, boy, was that a close one.
I'll say it was. He tried to force us into the ditch.
Oh, nonsense, Dick. He was forced to cut in by that other car coming round the curve at the same time. It was way out in the middle of the road.
Well, I suppose I could be wrong.
Of course you were. Now you just forget it. Here's Playland. We're going to have fun and a big surprise.
Oh, yeah, you said something about a surprise before. What is it?
You'll find out soon enough, Jim. And I want you to remember everything that happened so that you can tell Clark tomorrow.
Tell him what?
Just be patient. It won't be long now. Oh, look, this is a break. Somebody left us a parking spot right by the entrance gate.
I'll say it's a break.
Oh, boy, listen to all the music and stuff. Let's find a shooting gallery. Then I want to take a ride on the giant roller coaster.
You can do all that after the surprise. Come on, Jim. Come on, Dick.
Jim, look.
Huh? What?
By the gate. Mr. Big Ears. He's talking to the old guy with white hair and dark glasses.
Are you still worrying about him?
See, they're both looking at us now. There goes Big Ears into the park in a hurry. I tell you, that fellow is up to something.
And I tell you, you're nuts. Let go my sleeve. I want to find out about this surprise Miss Lane promised us.
You and your surprises. Hey, look. The old guy is stopping Miss Lane.
Oh, so what? He probably knows her. Honest, Dick, you're acting positively goofy tonight.
Well, I'm very happy to know you, Mr. Hemingway. Oh, Jim, Dick, this is Mr. Hemingway, Jim Olson, and Dick Grayson.
Oh, pleased to meet you, Mr. Hemingway.
Glad to know you.
I'm very happy to make your acquaintance, young gentlemen. Now, if you'll all just come this way.
Mr. Hemingway is the press agent for Playland Boys. He's in charge of the little surprise we have for you.
Oh, he is? Well, what is the surprise, Mr. Hemingway?
Don't tell him. I want him to see for himself.
Oh, I have no intention of telling him, Miss Lane. When everything is ready, he'll find out for himself.
I don't like this Hemingway guy, Jim.
Why not? Hey, snap out of it, Dick. Talk about your sad sacks. You take the cake tonight.
Where does the, take place, Mr. Hemingway?
Near the bandstand,
Oh.
half an hour. Meanwhile, I've arranged for you and your young friends, too, of course, to enjoy a few of our rides with our guests.
Oh, that sounds good to me.
Yes, it would be fun.
How about the giant roller coaster, Mr. Hemingway?
Oh, that's a little too wild for my taste.
Oh, well, look, you go on something else, Miss Lane.
The
Dick,
roller coaster entrance is quite a distance away. There would hardly be time for that before the big surprise.
Oh, gee.
Meanwhile, there are some very interesting rides close by.
Step up and get your tickets for the sensational River of Horrors, ladies and gentlemen.
River of Horrors?
Right up the
Mercy,
line.
what's that?
Thrills and chills. It'll make you laugh. It'll curdle your blood. It's
Say, that's the ride Beanie Martin told me about. He says it's swell. A boat goes through a long, dark tunnel, and skeletons jump out of the dock at you.
Skeletons?
Oh, phony ones, of course. Come on, let's go on.
I was going to recommend this ride.
Sounds okay to me.
Oh, I don't know.
Don't be a sissy, Miss Lane. Nothing can happen to you. Can it, Mr. Hemingway?
Of course not. I'm sure you'll find this ride the most unique experience.
I'm not afraid. I just don't want to wrinkle my clothes before I'm presented. Oh, all right. Since the boys want this ride, I'll go.
Oh, now you're talking. Come on, Dick.
Right this way. There's a boat waiting. I'll see that you three have it for yourself.
Hot dog. This is going to be fun.
You said it.
I hope so.
All right, step into the boat. One in each seat, please. Guests of the house, Joe.
Okay.
Come on, Miss Lane. I'll help you.
You sit in the middle seat, Miss Lane.
Now, don't worry about anything. There's a slow current that will take the boat through the tunnel and back here. Here, I'll give you a stop. There you are. I'll be waiting for you, Miss Lane.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Hemingway.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Hemingway. So long.
So long. So long, and a happy voyage. Yes, a happy voyage. I'll be waiting for you, Miss Lane. Oh, yes, indeed. I'll be waiting.
Quickly, as the boat vanishes into the dark tunnel, Dr. Bly, who has been masquerading as a white-haired press agent, hurries behind the high artificial rocks which enclose the River of Horrors. At Playland Amusement Park near Metropolis, a smooth, cultured gang leader named Dr. Bly, disguised as a white-haired press agent, lured Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and Dick Grayson into taking a ride on the River of Horrors. Our three friends, sitting one behind the other in a small boat, have drifted into a long, dark tunnel.
This is where Beanie said the skeletons jump out at you. Now, don't get scared, Miss Lane.
Scared. Don't be silly.
Eek! What's that? One of the skeletons.
Oh, golly.
It's covered with luminous paint. I thought you weren't scared.
Well, I wasn't. It just seemed so close.
The next one won't scare you so much, Miss Lane.
I tell you, I wasn't scared, Dick.
Oh, no? Should have heard yourself yip, huh, Dick?
Well, she thought I was going to grab her.
I did not. Eek! No, let me go! Oh, let me go!
Dick, the skeleton grabbed Miss Lane.
Yes,
Help, Miss Lane.
Stop it.
Miss Lane.
Stop the boat. Miss
Stop
Lane.
the boat.
Stop it. Miss Lane.
Shouting frantically, Jimmy Olsen and Dick Grayson are carried away from the spot where Lois Lane suddenly disappeared, snatched out of the boat by skeleton hands. Where is Lois? And what will happen to her?
Jimmy Olsen and Dick Grayson, whom we know is really the famous Robin, are alarmed over the sudden disappearance of their companion, Lois Lane. Hunted by the police for shooting a federal agent, Dixie Lamar, member of a criminal gang, was hiding out in Playland, a Metropolis amusement park, with Dr. Bly, the leader of the gang. Seeing a photograph of Lois Lane in the Daily Planet and discovering that Lois was an almost perfect double for Dixie, Dr. Bly conceived the scheme of pinning the murder on Lois. Posing as a press agent, he invited the girl reporter to be guest of honor at the amusement park that night. And when Lois arrived with Jimmy Olsen and Dick Grayson, who was really Robin, Batman's young companion, the three were given a ride on the River of Horrors. But as their boat glided through a dark tunnel, a luminous skeleton rose from the darkness and seized Lois. As we join them now, Jimmy and Dick are unable to stop the boat, which is without oars and is being carried along by a slow current. Listen.
Oh, my gosh, Dick. What do we do?
We've got to get help, Jim, and come back and find her.
Get help where? How? We're in a dark tunnel. I can't see a thing.
We're coming to the end of the tunnel. See, just ahead.
Huh? Where? Oh, yeah. Leaping lizards do something. Make this boat go faster.
We can't. There are no oars or anything. Don't lose your head, Jim. We'll be out in a minute.
Don't lose my head. Miss Lane is gone. That skeleton got her.
I don't understand it. Here, we're coming to the end of the tunnel.
Oh. Sit down. You'll tip us over.
No, I won't. See, there are rocks lining the river outside the tunnel. If we can grab hold of them and pull the boat over, we can climb out and not have to drift all the way back to the entrance.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Now, try to grab the rock.
All right.
Careful, though. Watch it.
Yo.
Look out, Jim.
Boy, it's a good thing that rock was there. I'd have gone into the drink.
I'll say. Okay, we can get out now. Come on.
All right. I'm with you. Oh, golly. Poor Miss Lane.
Now, don't worry, we'll find her.
But where is she? Jeepers, that skeleton.
Here's the midway. Jump down, Jim. It's only a few feet.
Okay. Now, which way?
This way, back to the entrance. Well, at least one good thing, I didn't bust my sundial wristwatch.
Oh, is that what that thing on your wrist is?
Yeah, it tells time by the sun.
Hey, that's swell. Where'd you get it?
Batman gave it to me. Who?
Hey, now, you two. Hold on.
Oh, wait, Dick, it's a cop.
A cop, am I? Look at here, you two, small pigs. What do you mean climbing up in them rocks?
Gee, officer, you got here just in time.
You bet I did.
A young lady
Miss Lane.
disappeared in the tunnel.
A skeleton grabbed her.
And then it disappeared, too. Come on, officer.
Yeah, you've got to find her.
Wait a minute. Let go of me sleeves. Now, there's big signs saying to keep off them rocks. Can't you read?
Sure, but
a skeleton got Miss Lane in the tunnel on the River of Horrors.
You've got to help us find her. Come on.
So a skeleton got someone, did he? Now, what kind of malarkey are you trying to give me?
It's true. You see, we were in a boat with Miss Lane. And when we got into the tunnel, a skeleton jumped out of the darkness and grabbed her.
And then they both disappeared.
Is that so now? Sure, and I ought to run you both in. First for climbing on the rocks and then for telling a whopper like that.
But it's true, I tell you. The skeleton still got her. Don't just stand there.
Don't be after telling me what to do.
Well, we'll do something.
Come on back to the entrance of the River of Horrors with us. We'll get another boat and go after Miss Lane.
Where we'll go is
Come on.
to Joe Hanson, who owns the River of Horrors concession. I don't believe you, Mike, but we'll find out what this nonsense is all about.
I only wish it was nonsense.
So do I.
Hey, Joe. Joe Hanson.
Hello, Riley.
I understand them wooden skeletons of yours have been getting into mischief.
Sure.
That fellow saw us get in the boat.
Yeah, I remember him. Listen, mister.
These two kids want me to pinch one of your skeletons for kidnapping, Joe.
That's a good joke.
It's no joke.
It sure isn't.
They say they was taking a ride in one of your boats with somebody.
Miss Lane, Lois Lane.
And when they got into the tunnel, one of them skeletons grabbed her and took her away.
That's right, just a few minutes ago.
Please help us find her, mister. Please.
What kind of a gag is this?
It's true. The skeleton got Miss Lane.
How could a wood and paper skeleton grab anybody? Are you nuts?
No. Honest. You see...
I don't like these kind of jokes. They're bad for business. Go on, beat it.
No, wait.
You've got to listen.
I don't have to listen to crazy stuff like that. Get them out of here, Riley. They're bad for business.
You say they didn't take a ride in one of your boats, Joe?
No, they didn't take a ride tonight. I would have remembered them if they did.
You hear that? Now, come on. Beat it, you kid.
No, wait. You must remember us. We got into the boat less than 5 minutes ago.
You were there when we got in the boat.
I see you didn't ride in one of my boats tonight. If you say you did, where's your ticket stub? Anybody rides in my boats, they keep the stubs and give them back to me when they finish the ride. Where's your stubs?
Oh, we didn't have any tickets. Don't you remember? Mr. Hemingway brought us here and said to you that our ride was on the house.
And you said okay.
Is that right, Joe?
I don't give rides for nothing. And I never heard of any Mr. Hemingway either.
Well, you did too. You know him. He's the press agent here.
The press agent of the whole amusement park.
Now, I know you kids are nuts. There's no Mr. Hemingway, the press agent of Playland.
Just a minute, Joe. What did this Mr. Hemingway look like, boys?
Well, he's a pretty old man. He's got a deep voice.
And white hair, and he wears dark glasses.
Okay, I've heard enough. The press agent of Playland was named Harry Spencer, and he's a young fella.
But I tell you...
And he ain't got a deep voice either. Now, I ought to run you kids in for this, but I'm going to close my eyes and count to 3.
Oh, here.
By the time I finish counting, you'd better be where I can't see you, or I will run you in.
Oh, listen, please. You've got to believe
I'm
us.
going to start counting. 1,
You don't believe us. What are we going to do, Dick?
You kids better beat it, that's what.
2,
I know what I'm going to do. Come on, Jim.
Where?
I'm going to call back. Somebody will find Miss Lane for us.
Mr. Kent, I'll call him. Come on. I see some phone booths behind that house.
they gone, Joe.
Yeah, crazy kids.
Ah, boys will be boys. It is no harm done with a bit of a joke now. I think I put the fear of the law in the young devils, but I'll be back in a short while to make sure they ain't bothering you no more. So long.
So long, Riley, and much obliged.
Joe,
Dr. Bly,
told you not to mention my name.
you kind of scared me sneaking up like that. Good thing you took off your white wig and dark glasses before the cops spotted you.
Never mind that.
What did you do with the girl, Miss Lane?
No names, I said. She's in a safe place. What happened to the 2 boys who were with her? The boat was empty when it came back through the tunnel.
I know. They climbed out over the rocks when they got out of the tunnel, and they got a cop.
Cop?
Yeah, Riley, the one who just left here. I stalled him off, all right. He thinks the kids were joking.
You fool. You shouldn't have let them get away.
Well, what could I do? They came back here with Riley.
Oh, you fool, you stupid fool. If they get away, they'll spoil everything.
Well, what could I do, Doctor?
Shut up. Which way did they go? Quick.
Over to those phone booths behind the hot dog stand. They were going to call a Mr. Kent and somebody named Bat. They started over just before you showed up.
Good. May not be too late then. Now remember, you never saw the girl. Those 2 boys didn't ride in your boat.
Swiftly, Dr. Bly turns and hurries through the gay crowds to the telephone booths, where Jimmy and Dick are excitedly calling Clark Kent and Batman for aid. It is 15 minutes since Jimmy Olsen telephoned Clark Kent from Playland. At once, Kent streaks to the amusement park as Superman. And now, having secretly assumed his guise of the mild-mannered reporter, he is pacing restlessly up and down before the ticket booth of the River of Horrors.
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, and get your tickets for the thrill of a lifetime.
Jim said he'd meet me right here.
A most sensational, electrifying ride on the River of Horrors.
Don't see him anywhere.
It'll make you laugh.
Dick Grayson
while it
either.
curdles your blood. It's a killer spine chiller, and it only costs
Oh, they
a
could
dime,
see.
a tenth part of a dollar. Step up, folks. Step up and get your tickets. Step up before they're all gone.
Pardon me. If you want a ticket, mister, get it at the booth.
No, it isn't that. Have you been around here long? Tonight, I mean?
Sure, all night. I own this concession. Why?
Well, I was supposed to meet a young fellow here. 2 of them, in fact. Jim Olsen and Dick Grayson. I wonder if you
Never
might have...
heard of him. Move along now. Can't you see I'm busy?
Oh, wait a minute. This is important. This one chap, Jim, said something serious happened. He's 16, he's thin, freckled
Don't
face.
know him, I said.
All right, folks, here's an empty boat right over here, one at a seat and one at a time. Now, don't crowd now, folks. See?
I don't understand this.
Everybody gets in, so
Jim said he and Dick would wait right here. I don't like this. I don't like it at all.
The killer ride on the River of Horrors. It'll make you laugh while it curdles your blood. Step up, folks, and get your tickets before they're all gone. Only 1 dime. The killer, thriller,
Minute by minute, his fears rising, Clark Kent waits mainly for Jimmy Olsen. What has happened to the boy reporter and to Dick Grayson, who is in reality Robin, Batman's young companion? And where is Lois Lane? In danger because one of his gang, a girl named Dixie Lamar, had shot and killed a federal agent, Dr. Bly, the cunning leader of the gang, plotted to pin the murder on Lois Lane, who was almost a perfect physical double for Dixie. Disguised as a press agent, Dr. Bly invited Lois to be guest of honor at Playland, a large amusement park outside Metropolis. And when the girl reporter arrived with Jimmy Olsen and young Dick Grayson, who was really Robin, the companion of Batman, the 3 were given a ride on the River of Horrors. But as their boat glided through a dark tunnel, a supposedly fake skeleton seized Lois and disappeared. Unable to make a police officer believe their fantastic story, Jimmy and Dick phoned Clark Kent and Batman. But when Kent arrived at the amusement park a few minutes later, the 2 boys were not there. As we continue now, Kent is pacing nervously before the entrance to the River of Horrors concession as a tall, masked figure wearing a bright blue hood and cape approaches. Listen.
Kent! Clark Kent! Batman! What are you doing here? I got word that Dick Grayson and Jimmy Olsen were in trouble. So did I. Have you seen them? No, not yet. I was to meet them right here in front of the River of Horrors. Yeah, Jim told me to meet them here, too. He said they'd be waiting for me. I got here about 20 minutes ago, and I haven't seen hide nor hair of them. That's strange.
Frankly, I don't like it. I spoke to the man who owns this concession, but he says he hasn't seen them.
Uh-huh. I wonder if... Oh, here comes a policeman. If anything happened around here, he ought to know about it.
Right, let's ask him. Officer.
Hey, just a moment, officer.
Sure, and you ought to win the first prize at the Masquerade Carnival tonight, young fella. You look just like the pictures of Batman.
Do I?
That you do, with spitting image. Well, what can I be after doing for you?
Well, look, we were supposed to meet 2 young boys here, but they haven't shown up. We're afraid they might have run into trouble. Their names are Dick Grayson and Jimmy Olsen. Have you heard anything about them?
2 lads, you say?
Jim is 16. He's about this tall, officer. Thin and wiry and freckle-faced. Dick is a year, maybe 2 younger.
Sure, and they must be the lads who give me the malarkey about the skeleton making off with the young lady.
What?
Skeleton?
What young lady?
They're the ones, all right. One was skinny and freckled, like you say.
Uh-huh.
And I mind now they called each other Jim and Dick.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, I was coming by here now just to make sure they wasn't getting into no more trouble.
What sort of trouble?
Where are they?
It's a trick they tried to play on me, the young spalpeen.
Trick?
Telling me they was in a boat on the River of Horrors. And that when the boat went in the dark tunnel, they said one of them phony skeletons in the wall, it's made out of wood and paper, painted with that luminous stuff, you know, to make it scary.
Yes?
Get to the point, officer.
Take it easy. It's only a joke, I tell you. Well, where was I?
In the tunnel.
Oh, yes. Well, so when they got into the tunnel, they're telling me, one of them phony skeletons grabbed the young lady that was in the boat with him and disappeared right out of this world with her.
Great Scott, that must have been Lois. Lois Lane.
Now, take it easy, Kent. Where did you speak to the boys, officer?
Right here it was. They,
Where did they go after they spoke to you?
Well, they rushed off to them phone booths there, behind the hot dog stand. They were going to call somebody up.
That's it, Kent.
Something must have happened to prevent their coming back here to meet us. Let's go. You better come along with us, officer.
Come along where?
We're taking a ride through the River of Horrors, right, Kent?
Right. 3, please. That'll be 30 cents. All right, here you are. Come on, you 2.
Now, hold on a minute. You fellas don't really believe that stuff about the skeleton.
We're going to see for ourselves. Now, where's that boatman? He was here a moment ago.
We don't need him. Here's an empty boat. Come and hop in. I'll untie it.
Okay. Come on, officer.
That I will. To show you myself, them skeletons couldn't hurt a fly.
Hey, wait a minute. I don't see any oars.
You don't need oars. There's a bit of a current takes the boat along through the tunnel.
Oh, all right. I'll push off. Here we go. That's the tunnel up ahead, isn't it?
Yes, and we're wasting our time, as you'll see for yourself in a minute.
Can't understand why Lois didn't tell me that she and Jim were coming here tonight. She acted so mysterious about where she was going.
It's a joke, I tell you. None of them was here.
What do you mean? You said you spoke to the boys.
I mean they didn't go through the River of Horrors. They made that up, too.
What?
And all about a Mr. Hemingway or some such name giving them a free ride.
Say, that's a new angle. Who's Mr. Hemingway?
There isn't any Mr. Hemingway.
There isn't?
Leastwise, it's a sober fact he's not the press agent for this amusement park, like them 2 young rascals said. A heavy-set old man with white hair and dark glasses. That's how they describe him.
They did, eh?
And as a matter of fact, the press agent for Playland is a man named Spencer, and he's a young fella with black hair.
This gets stranger and stranger, Kent.
Yes, and I like it less and less.
Take my word for it, it's just a trick those youngsters was playing.
I don't think so. Well, here's the tunnel.
It's as black as the ace of spades.
I'll say.
Where are the skeletons?
You'll see them in a moment. Each one jumping up out of the walls like a jack-in-the-box. I hope you don't scare easy.
Well, I'll try not to scream. Hey, what's that? Oh, it's a skeleton.
Take a good look before it's gone. You think that could kidnap anybody?
No, that skeleton couldn't. It's made of cheap wood and paper.
There's another one.
Yeah, that's wood and paper, too.
They all are. Just like I told you. Your young friends was having a joke with you like they tried with me, bad sister.
He may be right, Kent, after all.
Oh, wait a minute. That's funny.
What?
Well, that wire shot out of the wall there with no skeleton attached.
Oh, so what? It might have fallen off.
Yes, it could be, but...
Uh-oh. Sit down, Mr. Kent. You'll tip us all.
What is it, Kent?
I just saw something. Wait a minute. I can reach that wire.
What did you see? What are you stopping the boat for?
I'll show you in a moment. There we are. Now, look.
Look at what? I can't see my hand before my face.
Huh? Oh, yes, I forgot. You have a flashlight, don't you, officer?
That I have. Here we are.
Good. Just shine it on the wall right alongside you, please.
Sure. How's that?
A little more to the right. Oh, that's fine. Hold it. Now, see, Batman?
You bet, an opening in the wall.
Shh, quiet. Keep your voice down.
Wait. Sure, and it is. Like a little doorway. No, I didn't know that was there.
How did you ever notice it in the dark, Kent?
I've got pretty sharp eyes, and anyway, I was watching for something like this. What do you say? Let's have a look. Come on.
Right behind you.
You, care to come along, officer?
That I do, Mr. Kent. Not that I think this is important, mind.
Oh, you don't, eh? Well, I think it is. There we are. Okay. Now, officer, lead the way with your flashlight. But be careful. Anything may happen.
You lead the way with my flashlight.
No. Go ahead, officer. We're right behind you.
Anxiously, Clark Kent and Batman step into a low, dark passageway behind Officer Riley, whose flashlight stabs a thin ray through the musty gloom. Discovering a small, narrow opening in the tunnel wall on the River of Horrors, Clark Kent left the boat with Batman and Officer Riley and entered a low, pitch-black passageway. Stooping, Kent and Batman proceed in single file behind Riley, whose flashlight sends a cloudy ray through the dank, cobwebby darkness.
I wonder where this passageway leads to, Kent.
I imagine we're under the amusement park now, Batman.
How do you know?
I can see.
You can see?
Huh? Well, I mean, I can, I can hear the music and the crowds above us.
I can't.
Watch your heads. The ceiling's getting lower.
Okay.
Right.
Strange place for a passageway, Kent, don't you think?
Yes. I don't like this whole setup.
Neither do I. Miss Lane disappearing from the boat, then Dick and Jim missing. I'm afraid they've gotten into trouble because they saw what happened to Miss Lane.
What the?
What's the matter, officer?
What's wrong?
Something brushed by my leg.
I can't see anything.
Oh, it's probably just a rat. Keep going.
As soon as I find my ratted flashlight, I dropped it and it went out.
It must be around here someplace. I've got it.
Good. Lucky it didn't break. I don't like this place. I don't like it one bit.
All right, come on. Let's go.
Okay. But I don't like it.
Hey, I can hear the sounds of the amusement park now, Kent.
Yes. Yes, we're getting to the end of the passageway. Say, that's strange.
What?
Well, the passageway.
You're right. We're coming to the end of it.
Yeah. Here we are. Outside again.
Saints alive. You know where we are?
Where?
Right behind the Hall of Mirrors.
What?
The Hall of what?
The Hall of Mirrors. It used to be the crazy house.
Oh,
Now, how come that passageway ends up here?
I don't know. We haven't found Dick or Jim or Miss Lane. It looks like we're too late.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's a cinch that Lois was carried through this passageway.
Baloney. Now, if you listen to me.
Come on. We better search the park.
There's nothing else we can do.
You know, I've been figuring it out. That passageway must have been left there when they moved the miniature train from here to the other side of the park.
That's so?
That was a couple of years ago, when Joe Hansen put in the River of Horrors.
Joe Hansen. I'd like to speak to this Joe Hansen.
So would I.
But he ought to be back at the entrance near the ticket booth. We can cut across in front of the Hall of Mirrors.
Wait. Hey, look, Kent.
What?
Coming out of the Hall of Mirrors. See that heavy-set old man?
Yes. He's got white hair and dark glasses.
Mr. Hemingway, the phony press agent Dick and Jim told the cop about. Come on.
Okay. Uh-oh, he saw us. He's ducking back into the Hall of Mirrors. You stay here, officer. Step on it, Batman. After it.
Following their first real clue, Batman and Superman in his guise of Clark Kent race to the entrance of the Hall of Mirrors, into which the man with white hair and dark glasses has just disappeared. Is it Dr. Bly? And will Superman and Batman find Lois Lane in time? And Jimmy Olsen and Robin? Summoned separately by Jimmy and Robin, Kent and Batman arrived only to find that meanwhile the two boys had also disappeared. But they did spot Dr. Bly, still wearing the dark glasses and white wig in which he was masquerading as Mr. Hemingway, press agent for the amusement park. Kent and Batman gave chase as Bly ducked into the Hall of Mirrors, and as we join them now, they are virtually lost in the maze of mirrored corridors. Listen.
We'll never get out of this labyrinth, Kent, let alone find anyone. Maybe we'd better turn back.
And lose that bird with the white hair and dark glasses, he's our only clue.
I know, but we seem to be going around in circles. Unless I'm crazy, we've passed that mirror 5 times, the one that makes you look skinny.
It's not the same one.
Well, it looks the same. Well, maybe they all look alike to me by now. I'm getting dizzy. Mirrors on the walls, mirrors on the ceiling, even mirrors on the floors. Why people pay admission to come in here, I'll never know. Look out, Kent. You're walking right into a mirror.
No, it's an optical illusion. The corridor takes a turn here.
Well, you've got better eyes than I have, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's one trouble. They're not good enough.
What do you mean?
Well, all these mirrors must be backed with lead in addition to a coating of mercury. I can't see through lead.
Well, who can?
Well, ordinarily, Yeah, I guess I'm not making much sense, am I?
Well, I'm not surprised. This place is my head spinning like a top. Can't think, let alone make sense.
We'll be out of it soon. Uh-oh. You better get behind me here. The corridor's narrow from here on.
All right. I suggest we turn back and search the park for Jimmy and Dick.
Why?
After all, Ken, if we can locate the kids, we shouldn't have too much trouble finding out.
Hey! Help! Batman! Where are you? Batman! He's gone. Disappeared. I heard something open and then close. But where? Can't see through these mirrors. Batman! Where are you? Batman! Answer me!
Robbed of his X-ray vision by what's apparently lead coatings on the backs of the mirrors, Kent is helpless, even as Superman, to locate his suddenly vanished friend. Meanwhile, outside the gates of the amusement park, in a seemingly deserted frame house, the little man with the big ears, Dr. Bly's jitterbug assistant, Happy, is guarding Lois Lane behind the locked door of a room. On a rickety table in one corner, a cheap phonograph is blaring out the rhythmic beats of a jazz pianist. Finally, Lois, pacing up and down the room, can't stand it any longer.
The least you can do is to stop that phonograph. That banging piano is driving me crazy.
You kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
That boogie-woogie don't set you, chick. You ain't reading.
It'll send me all right out of my mind. Turn it off!
Okay. Keep your suits, man.
That's better.
The trouble with you is, you ain't got no depreciation for solid scenting.
I'll take Toscanini if you don't mind.
Yeah? Who's he play with? What combo?
Never mind. Look, music lover, what gives here? When am I going to get out of this fire trap?
You got me, sugar. We're waiting for the big guy.
And who is the big guy?
You asked me that before, remember? And I told you nix. That still goes. Nix.
I tell you, a mistake has been made.
Truck on down, sister. There ain't no mistake. A big guy's cutting a mean groove this time.
Both you and the big guy, whoever he is, are going to find yourselves in plenty of hot water. Do you ever hear of assault and battery?
I heard of salt and pepper.
Oh, very funny. Very funny. Ever hear of kidnapping?
You mean putting a snatch on a lug?
Crudely, yes. It's punishable by life imprisonment. So unless you want to spend the rest of your days behind bars, you'd better unlock that door and let me out of here.
So pipe down. And don't tell him I was playing that jive box, or you'll catch real trouble.
Open up, Happy.
Come in.
What took you so long?
I was just...
Close the door and lock it.
Read.
So, you're Miss Lane. Delighted to meet you.
I can't say the feeling is mutual. What's behind all this?
Hours of careful planning. Happy.
Yeah, boss?
The door locked?
Tied her in a trap drum. How come you was pumping so hard?
2 men spotted me coming out of the Hall of Mirrors. Quite a time getting away from them.
Oh, yeah?
You don't recognize me, do you, Miss Lane?
I can't say I do.
Perhaps if I replace this white wig and dark glasses.
Why, Mr. Hemingway.
Ain't she the slick chick, Doc?
Never mind the comments, Happy. Did you take care of those details at Miss Lane's apartment?
Yeah, man.
What's the meaning of all this? Why am I being held in this room? And why did you lure me to Playland under false pretenses?
Because I need you, desperately, for a little plan I have in mind.
What is it you want? Money?
Perish the thought.
Well, what is it?
Nature endowed you with certain distinctive physical qualities, and a kindly providence led you into my hands.
I'm afraid you'll have to explain further.
All in good time, Miss Lane. A moment, Happy, who's that?
You got me, Doc.
Stand back from the door. Keep your gun handy.
Read.
Who is it?
It's me, Doc. Dixie.
Dixie.
Very my flower.
Happy, stop the lane, girl. She's heading for the window.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me.
Struggling to reach the window in an attempt to smash the glass and attract attention, Lois unknowingly is gambling against death, with the odds against her. In a desperate bid to summon help, Lois attempted to reach and smash the window of the room in which she is being held captive by the wily Dr. Bly, but the attempt failed. Roughly handled by Bly's assistant, Happy, Lois is now unconscious, stretched out on a couch as Dr. Bly unlocks the door of the room to admit Lois's double, Dixie Lamar, the girl who was wanted for murder.
Thought I told you to stay where you were.
It got too hot in that phony lighthouse.
What do you mean, too hot?
Well, 2 guys and a cop came through the tunnel leading from the River of Horrors. I thought sure they were after me, so I beat it.
You fool. I had the tunnel to the lighthouse blocked up.
I heard him talking plain as day. The cop was Raleigh, the one that hangs around the park.
They did go through the tunnel. They took the cutoff that opens out behind the Hall of Mirrors.
Maybe. Anyways, I got cold feet, so I hightailed it over here. Nobody saw me, honest, Doc.
Why do I allow myself to become mixed up with such imbeciles? Happy.
Yeah, Doc?
Get a glass of water. Drop this powder into it. Force the water down Miss Lane's throat.
Read.
So that's the dame looks like me, huh?
With more brains in her little finger than you have between your ears.
Oh, yeah? She's gonna burn, ain't she? Does that take brains?
Don't lead me into any deep discussions at this time, Dixie. Liable to say some things that might embarrass you. Any event, we haven't time for idle chatter. We have work to do. Important work.
Just pour it down her throat, Doc?
Yes, all of it.
Hey, what's that for?
Just a little potion to make certain she's dazed and confused when she awakens. Now, Dixie.
Yeah?
Change clothes with her.
Change clothes?
You heard me. All your clothes. Incidentally, is that the dress you wore when you stupidly shot the Federal agent?
Yeah.
Good. Comb her hair the way you comb yours.
How are you going to work this deal, Doc?
Very simply. Once we have Miss Lane dressed in Dixie's clothes, including a mink coat...
My mink coat? Oh, no. I'm not giving that up.
What would you prefer to give up, you little fool? Your mink coat or your life?
Oh, Doc, please. Give a gal a break.
I repeat, your coat or your life.
Don't be a trip, Dixie.
Okay. Let her have it.
If this scheme works, Dixie, I'll buy you another.
You heard that, Happy.
Yeah, I'm writing it on ice.
All right, let's get going now. Dixie, start switching clothes while Happy and I go into the next room to make a phone call. And don't dawdle.
Don't what?
Don't waste time.
Oh.
Come on, Happy.
Shag it right along, Doc.
One of these days I'm going to take some time off and teach you the King's English.
You don't have to, Doc. I know he's English.
Whoever said ignorance was bliss must have been thinking of you, Happy.
Gee, thanks, Doc. And what's the lowdown?
As soon as Dixie gets the girl dressed in her clothes, we're going to carry her out of here and sneak her into some dive in downtown Metropolis. That's where the police will find her.
How they gonna find her?
I'll show you.
Where you calling?
Listen and you learn.
I'm listening.
Hello? Metropolis Police Department?
Huh?
I'd like to speak to Inspector Henderson. Yes, it's important. Just tell him a friend. Keep your ears open, Happy.
I'm right on a beam.
Hello? Inspector Henderson? You want a girl named Dixie Lamar for murder, don't you? But never mind who this is. Just listen. You'll find Dixie Lamar at the Red Devil Cafe on South Street. I said you'll find Dixie Lamar at the Red Devil Cafe on South Street.
Forging the last link in a deadly chain of circumstantial evidence aimed at pinning a murder rap on Lois Lane, the diabolical Dr. Bly tells Inspector Henderson where the false Dixie Lamar can be found. Spotting a white-haired man in dark glasses whom they suspected of being involved in the mystery, Kent and Batman pursued him into the Hall of Mirrors, where they became lost in the maze of glass. Suddenly, a trapdoor opened beneath Batman's feet, and he cried out and disappeared. As Kent searches desperately, his X-ray vision unable to penetrate the lead backing of the mirrored floor, Batman, plummeting down through inky black space, lands in a deep vat of ice-cold water. Listen.
Whoa. It's landed in somebody's ice cold water cooler. It's over my head, too.
Batman, is that you?
Great Lucifer. Robin, where are you?
Give me a hand, will you?
Where are you, Robin? I can't see a thing.
Over here. Hurry up.
Hang on, Robin. You're right over. Well, Robin, is Miss Lane with you?
No. I don't know where she is. The phony skeleton grabbed her in the tunnel on the river of Harvest.
No. Okay, Robin, I'll take you.
Let me have it. There. Oh,
I've got him.
Phew. I couldn't have held out much longer.
Robin, he's as limp as a rag. Now his heart's beating.
I think he bumped his head when somebody pulled the floor out from under us.
Oh, wait till I get a good hold on Jimmy. There. I'll keep his head up above water. So you took a trip through the trap door, too, huh?
We didn't even have to buy a ticket. We fell for the gag by a guy named Hemingway. And I do mean we fell. He came up to us right after we called you and Mr. Kent and said that what happened in the tunnel was a joke. And he'd take us to Miss Lane.
And he took you into the House of Mirrors and dropped you down through the trap door, is that right?
That's right. Listen, I don't know what this is all about, Batman, but it's got a nasty smell.
Well, we'll find out. As soon as we get out of here.
If we get out.
We will, don't worry. Now, we seem to be in some kind of a tank, judging by these rounded cement walls.
Yeah. I managed to navigate myself and Jim around it once.
Oh?
Oh, it's warm. Cold. My arms and legs are chunks of ice.
Robin, we got to get Jim out of here and hurry. Not to mention ourselves. Listen. What's that?
It's a giant roller coaster. It goes by about once a minute, but it doesn't stop here to pick up passengers.
There it's going. Now, look. We'll yell and hope somebody hears us. That might be faster than trying to find our own way out. It's as black as the ace of spades in here.
Oh, I yelled plenty when Jim and I checked in, but all I got back is an echo.
Well, I've got a good pair of lungs. All right, now together, Robin. Help!
Help! Help!
Help! No soap, I'm afraid. All these concrete walls hold the sound in. Well, Robin, there's only one solution. Hang on to my cape.
What do you plan to do?
Get out of this overgrown bathtub, of course.
Yeah. From where I sit, the only way out is by the trapdoor we came in.
I'll stop raving, Robin. Judging by the time it took me to fall, we're 50 or 60 feet below the House of Mirrors. Oh, what's that?
I think it's the trick ice water showers in the House of Mirrors. You know, you step on a panel or something and get doused with ice water.
Yes, but it sounded right close by.
Sure. The water splashes back down here in this tank. It scared me out of a year's growth when I swam under it a little while ago.
Oh? Oh, wait, Robin.
Oh, I've got all the time in the world.
Now, listen. Since the water drops back in here, instead of being allowed to run off as drainage, this tank must supply the trick showers upstairs.
Sure. So what?
So there must be a pipe running upstairs from here. Well, there goes that roller coaster again. Hang on, Robin. We'll find that pipe and climb out. I'll do the swimming. Now you keep your hands on the wall.
Okay, but... Oh, damn that shower. Reminds me of how cold I am. I hate to say so, Batman, but it's getting awful numb.
Just keep kicking hard. That'll keep your blood circulating.
What blood? Stick a pin in me and all you'll get is icicles. I'm worried about Jim. A little more of this cold storage will never get him thawed out.
Well, I'm worried, too. Plenty. Any sign of a pipe yet?
No. Maybe it's inside the wall. Well, come to think of it, most pipes are.
Well, let's not think about that.
Batman.
What's the matter?
I can't close my hand. My fingers are frozen.
Tread water. Keep your hands together.
I can't tread water. My feet. I can't move them. They're numb.
Here, I'll hold you up. Take it easy. Poor kid, you're chilled to the bones.
You can't hold Jim and me both.
Yes, I can. Just keep rubbing your hands together. I'll try to move your feet.
Okay. But how are you going to find the pipe now, if there is a pipe?
Don't worry about it. I left Ken upstairs. He might be able to trace us.
Unless Hemingway got him, too.
Well, let's hope he didn't.
Oh, Batman, you're shivering, too.
Well, not much. I'm okay.
You are not. You better let me go and swim around and try to find that pipe.
Don't be a chump.
No, listen. Jim must be in worse shape than I am. Let me go.
Will you keep quiet, Robin? Kent might trace us. Well, if he doesn't...
Then it's curtains.
No. When it gets light, I'll find a way out.
Are you kidding? It won't be light for hours yet. By that time...
Now, cut it out, Robin, and help me yell. That might warm you up.
What's the use, Batman? You know we're done for.
Well, I'll admit it looks bad, but... Well, we've been in bad spots before, Robin.
Never as bad as this.
Well, never mind. Now, come on, yell. Now, together.
Help! Help! Help!
Help! Holding Robin and the unconscious Jimmy Olsen in the icy water, Batman, his great strength waning, shouts for help as the giant roller coaster, as if in grim irony, thunders by outside and drowns his and Robin's cries. As Batman, Robin, and Jimmy Olsen face death in a tank of ice water under the Hall of Mirrors, Clark Kent, his X-ray vision unable to penetrate the lead backing of the mirrored floor, scratched a mark at the approximate spot where Batman disappeared. Then, searching 50 feet in one direction through the winding mirrored maze, he returned to the mark and searched 50 feet in the other direction. Now he has returned again to the mark.
See, now, Batman was right behind me when he disappeared. Couldn't have been hit on the head and dragged away. I would have seen him. And I've made sure there are no false corridors around here. Wait a minute. There's only one explanation. He must have dropped through a trap door. Now, there's nobody around, so off with these clothes. I think I hear voices down below shouting for help. This looks like a job for
Superman. There we are, all set. Now to break through this pretty mirrored floor. I hate to do it, but whoever owns this place must be in on this deal, so here goes. Batman and Robin and Jim, look out below! Okay, boys, everything's under control.
Who is it?
Don't you recognize my voice, Batman?
Superman.
That's right.
Striking pink Superman.
Here, I'll take Jim. Uh-oh. What's the matter with him?
Well, he bumped his head, Superman. I guess this cold water hasn't helped him any.
Well, there's a medical aid station in the amusement park. Under this arm with you, Robin. Okay, hang on, Batman.
Right. Let her rip.
No time to waste. We'll go right through the wall of this basement. Stay under my cape now. Here goes. Away!
Leaping from the dark concrete tank with Jimmy and Robin cradled in his arms and Batman clinging to his cape, Superman crashes through the wall of the basement and streaks for the medical aid station. Leaving Batman and the two boys there, the Man of Steel rockets away again, circling above, his keen eyes searching the ground below. Finally, unable to find either Lois Lane or the man with white hair and dark glasses, he drops to the ground behind the medical aid station, resumes his guise and garb of Clark Kent, and walks to the door just as Batman emerges.
Batman!
Kent! Kent, what happened to you?
I got lost in the Hall of Mirrors.
Well, good thing you didn't go through that trap door with me.
What?
Yes, I landed in a vat of ice water with Dick Grayson and Jimmy Olsen.
Oh?
Yes, if it hadn't been for Superman.
Yeah, I heard about it. Listen...
Kent, I've got bad news for you.
What is it?
I just spoke to Inspector Henderson.
Yes?
I called him to come out here and help us look for Miss Lane, and, well, he told me Miss Lane has been found.
She has? Oh, where? How is she?
Kent, she's in the city jail.
The city jail?
That's right. She's locked up there.
But why?
This is going to be hard to take, Kent.
What is it? Tell me.
Miss Lane is being held for murder.
Murder?
Yes, Kent. Murder.
Lois, held for murder. Is this some ghastly joke, or is Batman serious? He's serious, all right, as we all know. Dr. Bly's sinister trap has evidently been sprung, and poor Lois has been caught in its cruel jaws. What will happen now? Drugged and dressed in Dixie's clothes, Lois was left at the Red Devil Cafe, a notorious dive. There, the police, tipped off by Dr. Bly, found her and arrested her. As we continue now, Clark Kent and Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet, are at the city jail, waiting in the warden's office for Inspector Henderson. White is almost beside himself with rage. Listen.
I'll tell you, Kent, this is an outrage. I'll sue the city for $100 million.
Now, wait a minute.
I'll get the mayor impeached. I'll have Henderson kicked out on his ear.
You can't do
I'll
that.
spread this across the front page of the Planet, and I'll buy space in all the competing papers to tell the people of the city
Now, look,
what a
if you-
stupid, addle-pated,
If you'll
fleet-brained,
only-
half-baked police department we have.
Now, wait a minute,
I'll
Chief.
take
Wait a minute. In a minute, you won't be able to do any of those things.
Why not? Who's going to stop me?
If you don't calm down, you'll have a heart attack. Then what?
It'll serve him right. What am I saying?
Well, that's it. We've got to be careful. We can't lose our heads. We've got to know what we're saying.
Oh, just wait till Henderson shows up. Just you wait. I'll know what I'm saying, and I'm going to say plenty.
Is he still with Lois?
Yes, and the district attorney. Another pumpkin-headed nincompoop.
What did Henderson tell you?
He didn't tell me anything. I haven't seen the fat fool yet. All I know is what came over the teletype. And when Beanie brought it into my office, you could have feathered me with the floor. I mean, floored me with a feather.
What did it say?
What did it say?
Yes.
That Lois was arrested 3 hours ago. And you know where?
Where?
The Red Devil Cafe.
What?
One of the lowest dives in the city. Does that make sense to you?
No, it doesn't.
Well, it makes sense to these half-witted policemen I pay good taxes to support. The Red Devil Cafe. Not only that, but they claim she was drunk.
Drunk? Oh, I don't believe it.
Oh, you don't believe it?
No.
And who are you? Do you wear brass buttons and a blue coat and a hat with a lot of gold spinach on it? And do you lead the parade down Main Street on the 4th of July?
No, but what's
Is
that...
your name Inspector Henderson, and do you get $15,000 a year to solve crimes?
No,
Then who are you not to believe it?
Oh, I see. You're being sarcastic.
I'm being sarcastic? Huh, perish the thought.
This is no time for comedy, Chief.
Comedy.
What about the murder charge? What's the story on that?
It isn't a story. It's a pipe dream. They say Lois was leading a double life.
Huh?
Half the time she was a respectable newspaper reporter, and the other half she was Dixie Lamar,
Oh.
a confidence woman wanted for the murder of a federal agent.
What?
I thought this was no time for comedy.
Well, I can't help it, Chief. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
And you won't find the rest so funny.
Why? What do you mean?
3 reliable witnesses have already identified Lois as the girl who shot the federal agent in the lobby of the Burton Arms Hotel.
You're kidding.
Well, that's what the teletype said. And not only that, when the police picked Lois up tonight at the Red Devil, she was wearing the same clothes that this Dixie Lamar wore when she killed the agent. A red dress, imitation pearls, and a mink coat.
Well, Lois never owned a mink coat. Oh, it's all a mistake.
A mistake?
Yes.
You call it a mistake. I call it gross miscarriage of justice. Where is that Henderson? Open this door!
Take it easy,
How long
Chief.
do you think we're going to remain locked up in here?
Now, wait.
Open it, I said!
That won't get you anywhere, Chief.
Don't tell me what it'll get me or what it won't get me.
Well,
Open this door! What's that?
the phone.
Oh, I'll take it. Hello? Who? Oh, you want Inspector Henderson, do you? Well, mister, so do I. And if you see him before I do, you tell him that Perry White says he's an empty-headed flatfoot.
Chief, be careful. You don't
Yes,
know
I
what
said
you're talking
flatfoot. F-L-A-T, foot. Goodbye. He wants Inspector Henderson. I've been waiting 2.5 hours, and he wants it.
Steady, Chief.
Oh, Kent, I'm warning
Hold it,
you
Chief.
unless...
Someone's unlocking the door.
I'm sorry to have kept you gentlemen waiting.
You'll be sorrier before I'm through.
I suggest that you take it easy, Mr. White.
Yeah, that's the trouble. That's exactly the trouble.
What's the trouble?
Everyone telling me to take it easy. Everyone telling me to watch my blood pressure. Now, look here, Henderson. Unless Lois Lane is released from that cell within 20 minutes,
You'll what?
I'll go to the mayor.
That won't help you, Mr. White. We think we have an open and shut case here. We're proceeding along that line.
What do you mean, open and shut, Inspector?
I can't tell you, Kent. Not until the DA prepares his report to the grand jury.
Oh, you can't, eh?
Chief, please. Now, look, Inspector, we've cooperated with the police department on any number of occasions.
That's true, Kent,
and
but...
the least you can do is tell us what you think you've got against Lois.
Well, all right. But I warn you, it's going to be hard to take. Sit down.
Pulling chairs up to the desk, Clark Kent and Perry White anxiously await Henderson's story of the murder charge pending against Lois Lane. Inspector Henderson has consented to tell Clark Kent and Perry White the nature of the evidence against Lois Lane, evidence that points to Lois as a murderess. Anxiously, Kent and the gray-haired editor lean forward in their chairs as Henderson begins his recital.
Well, in the first place, gentlemen, 3 completely reliable witnesses have identified Miss Lane as the girl who shot and killed the federal agent in the Burton Arms hotel lobby.
Who are they?
The desk clerk, an elevator operator, and a permanent guest at the hotel, a well-known metropolis businessman.
Rubbish.
Now, wait a minute. Let him finish, Chief.
Thank you, Kent. In the second place, the murder gun was found less than an hour ago, and it bore Miss Lane's fingerprints.
What?
Where was it found?
In a bureau drawer in Miss Lane's apartment.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
No? Let me ask you a question, Mr. White. How much did Miss Lane earn as a reporter on the Daily Planet?
That's none of your business.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to make it my business. Well, Mr. White?
$90 a week, and a bonus at Christmas.
How large a bonus?
$1,000.
Did she have any other source of income?
How should I know?
I don't think so, Inspector.
Then perhaps you can explain how Miss Lane happened to be wearing a $3,000 mink coat and...
Sure. Why not?
Now, wait a minute. And how, earning $90 a week, she managed to save $60,000, which we located in a safe deposit box registered under the name Dixie Lamar.
How do you know it was her safe deposit box?
We found the key to it in her apartment.
Kent, what is this?
I told you it was going to be hard to take.
Well, we haven't taken it yet, Inspector, not by a long shot.
Do you want the clincher?
Now, before you tell us anything else, what's the connection between Lois Lane and this Dixie Lamar?
They're one and the same person. Miss Lane evidently led a double life.
Oh.
As Dixie Lamar, she was a member of the Bly Gang.
The what?
The Bly Gang. Fake oil stock peddlers and confidence men.
Lois Lane? Are you crazy?
Inspector, you don't really believe that Miss Lane was mixed up with a gang of confidence men?
In this police business, Kent, you believe only what you see and no more.
But look, isn't it logical to assume that, well, if she really had $60,000 and could afford mink coats, she wouldn't be working 8 hours a day at the Daily Planet for $90 a week.
Oh, that was a front, a blind.
If anyone's blind, you are, Henderson.
Oh, yeah?
Lois Lane never stole a penny in her life. Lois Lane never led a double life. Lois Lane is Lois Lane, and that's all.
How come, then, we found telegrams in her apartment addressed to Dixie Lamar? Telegrams from Ace Scarlatti, one of the most notorious gangsters in Chicago. A man wanted for 5 murders and a dozen criminal code violations.
Where is this Scarlatti? I'll bring him here and let Lois face him.
We'd like to do that, Kent, but unfortunately, it's too late.
Huh?
What do you mean, too late?
Scarlatti was shot and killed in a gang fight 3 weeks ago.
What?
Oh, that's bad.
Kent, is this a bad dream? Am I hearing these things, or am I imagining it?
I'm afraid you're hearing them, Chief.
No, it's a nightmare, that's all it is. I'll wake up in a great cold sweat, and it'll be all over. Things like this can't happen. They just can't.
What's the next step, Inspector?
The evidence will be presented to the grand jury tomorrow.
Then?
There's no question about getting an indictment.
I see. And after that?
She'll stand trial.
Oh, good heavens.
And frankly, if you want my opinion, on the basis of the case we've already developed, Miss Lane will go to the chair for murder.
Stunned almost beyond belief, speechless in the face of Henderson's final statement, Clark Kent and Perry White stare in open-mouthed amazement at the police inspector. Again and again, the horrible phrase runs through their dazed minds.
Miss Lane will go to the chair for murder.
But slowly, the realization dawns that Henderson is real, that what they have heard is real. And no matter what the explanation, Lois is caught in a deadly web from which there seems to be no possible escape. Lois Lane's startling, almost twin-like resemblance to Dixie Lamar, member of a notorious confidence ring and accused of murder, has placed the young Daily Planet girl reporter deep in the shadow of the electric chair. A dangerous web of circumstantial evidence has been woven about Lois by Dr. Bly, cunning leader of the confidence ring, and she is now being held in the city jail, charged with the crime Dixie Lamar committed. While the famous Batman combs the amusement park outside Metropolis, where Lois's trouble started, Clark Kent and Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet, are at the city jail. Following an unsatisfactory discussion with Inspector Henderson, chief of police, they have been permitted 5 minutes alone with Lois in her cell. As they enter, and the barred door clangs shut behind them, Lois, seated on her cot, looks up, dazed and uncertain.
Clark, Mr. White,
You poor kid. What have they done to you?
they keep saying that, oh, Clark.
No. There's nothing to worry about, Lois. Believe me.
I'll fight this to the Supreme Court. I'll spend every cent I've got and every cent the planet's got.
You see, we're all behind you.
100%. If that horse's neck Henderson thinks he can get away with this, he's crazy.
Well, we've only got 5 minutes, Chief. Don't waste them getting mad at Henderson.
I don't have to get. I am.
Lois.
Yes.
We want you to tell us everything that happened tonight from the time you left the Daily Planet office.
I don't remember everything.
All right, then as much as you do remember.
Well, Jimmy and Dick and I went to Playland.
The amusement park?
Yes.
Well, who's Dick?
I know. It's Dick Grayson. Go on, Lois.
We got into a boat, and there was a dark tunnel, and skeletons.
Well, what's she talking about?
The River of Horrors, one of the amusement park concessions. Yes, Lois.
And then someone grabbed me. I tried to scream, but there was a cloth on my mouth. It was sweet, terribly sweet.
Chloroform.
I couldn't move, but I could hear voices. And there were 2 men. They carried me through a narrow place with a low ceiling.
Yes.
And then everything went black.
That's all you remember?
No, there was a house and a man named Happy. He played a phonograph, a piano.
He played a phonograph and a piano?
No, the record. It was a piano record.
Oh. Where was this house?
I don't know, but I could see the lights.
Lights? What lights?
The lights. The lights,
The amusement park lights?
Yes.
Oh.
And then another man came. And the first one. Then the phonograph was...
Happy?
Yes, he called the other one Doc.
Uh-huh.
I tried to get to the window, Clark, but they stopped me. That's all.
What do you mean, that's all?
Well, that's all I remember until they brought me here.
Well, how did you get to the Red Devil?
The what?
Red Devil, Lois. That's where the police picked you up, at the Red Devil Cafe.
I don't know.
Look, is that your dress you're wearing?
My dress?
Yes, it's red.
Red? I don't have any red dresses.
Well, what about the mink coat?
Mink coat?
You were wearing a mink coat when the police arrested you, Lois.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't see anything funny about it.
A mink coat. Oh, that's very funny.
Kent, she's not right.
Lois,
Yes?
did you ever hear the name Dixie Lamar?
Dixie who?
Lamar. L-A, I guess, capital M-A-R-R.
I can't remember, Clark.
You've got to remember Lois.
Dixie Lamar.
That's right.
I can't.
Kent, she's sick. Now, you'd better
Just
let me
minute,
call
Chief.
it.
Wait a minute. Lois, I want you to pay close attention to what I'm going to tell you because it's important. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now, to begin with, the police are holding you for murder.
Oh, Murder? Clark, did you say murder?
Yes, they claim you're the Dixie Lamar who shot and killed a federal agent in a hotel lobby.
But that's
Now, let
ridiculous.
me finish. Wait a minute. They found the murder gun in your apartment with your fingerprints on it. They found the key to a safe deposit box containing $60,000 in cash.
You know
Just
that
a
I
minute.
have no...
And they found some telegrams from a notorious gangster now dead addressed to Dixie Lamar.
Clark, what are you talking about?
Those things are facts, Lois. At least they were presented to us as facts.
The gangster's name was Ace Scarlatti. You know him?
I never heard of him.
All right, let's go back a bit. Why did you refuse to tell me where you were going when you left the office early this evening?
I did?
Yes, you did. You said something very important had happened to you while the chief, Jimmy, and I were up north. But you refused to tell me what it was.
Something important.
You also said I'd soon learn I wasn't as good a reporter as I thought I was.
Did I say that?
Well, now you know you did, Lois.
Oh, Kent, will you stop trying to pin her down?
But, Chief,
Can't you see she's not well? Are you totally blind?
She's well enough to tell me why. As she left the office, she said, "So long, Clark. See you in jail."
What?
You remember that, Lois?
No, I don't.
Well, if she did say it, she was just kidding.
Yes, I must have been kidding.
I wonder.
Huh? What's that?
Never mind. Now, Lois, these 2 men you mentioned, Happy and
Doc.
Doc, yes, Happy and Doc. Did either of them have white hair and wear dark glasses?
No, that was Mr. Hemingway.
Oh, who's Mr. Hemingway?
He was the press agent at the amusement park.
That's the bird we were chasing, Batman and I.
When was this?
Earlier this evening. How did you happen to meet this Mr. Hemingway, Lois?
He was waiting for me
Where?
at the amusement park.
Well, did you have an appointment with him?
Now, wait a minute, Kent. Who do you think you are, the district attorney?
I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this, Chief. Lois's answers are too vague. They'll never stand up in court.
Court? Who's talking about court?
You heard what Inspector Henderson said. They've got an open and shut case.
I'll open and shut him. Now, don't you worry, Lois. I'll get the best lawyer in the country.
But I haven't done anything. Have I?
All right. Let's get back to Mr. Hemingway. Did you have an appointment to meet him at the amusement park, Lois?
I can't remember.
Well, how is it you can remember some things and not others?
I don't know.
Well, that's no answer.
If she doesn't know, she doesn't know.
She's got to know in front of a jury.
Will you stop talking about courts and juries?
Now, look, Chief, wait a minute, will you? Lois's story doesn't make sense. There's something phony about it.
Oh, you think she's guilty?
What?
You think she murdered
Now, don't
that
put
guy.
words into my mouth. All I said was that...
Mr. Kent?
Oh, our time up?
No, you still got a minute, but a phone call came in for you.
For me?
Yeah, from the Batman.
Oh, yes?
He said to get to the River of Horrors at the amusement park as fast as you can.
Anything else?
Yeah. He said to tell you he thinks he's got the case broken, if you hurry.
You bet I'll hurry. Let me out of here.
Ignoring Lois and Perry White, Clark Kent hurries from the city prison and, under the cover of darkness, assumes his true role of Superman, then wings with the speed of light for the amusement park. What has Batman uncovered? An urgent message from Batman has brought Clark Kent back to the amusement park where the mysterious set of circumstances that have involved Lois in a murder charge first began. In the shadows of the imitation lighthouse rising above the River of Horrors concession, Batman tells Kent what he has discovered.
Well, after you left, Kent, I scoured the park looking for that bird with the white hair and the dark glasses.
Did you locate him?
No, but I stumbled on something else.
Oh, what?
The owner of the River of Horrors, a bird named Joe Hansen, is mixed up in this deal.
How do you know?
I watched him. He evidently knew one of the skeletons along the river had been rigged up to snatch Miss Lane out of the boat. Because less than a half hour ago, he went back through the tunnel with a phony skeleton to fix it again.
He did, eh?
When he came out, I followed him up into that phony lighthouse.
Uh-huh.
This bat outfit of mine must have frightened him because he started to spill all he knew.
Good work.
Well, now, wait a minute. That's only half of the story. Before he told me anything important, he changed his mind and pulled a gun.
What?
I had to grapple with him and knock him out.
Oh, good.
There was no phone there, so I tied him up, gagged him, and went out to call you at the city jail because I was afraid to chance it carrying him out of there alone.
He's up there now?
Yes. I've been watching it closely. No one's gone in or out. That little door there's the only entrance.
Okay, let's go. You lead the way.
Anyone around?
No, nobody we have to worry about.
All right, follow me. There's a short winding staircase and a room at the top of it. I guess Hansen used it as an office.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed a desk and a typewriter. Okay, here we are. We better take another look around.
All clear.
All right, in we go. Close the door behind you.
Right. Say, where's the light coming from?
It's the room at the head of the stairs. I left it on.
Oh.
Well, be careful here. There's a loose board on one of the steps. I almost broke my neck coming down.
I see it.
Kent, where do you suggest we take Hansen?
I don't know. You think he'll talk?
I know he will. He's just the kind of half-baked rat who'll squeal to save his own skin. If he hadn't remembered that gun in his desk drawer, I would have gotten the whole story out of him. Okay, here we are. That's the room. See? He's just where I left him on the floor.
Yes. But I don't think he'll talk.
Well, what do you mean, Kent?
It's a little difficult for a man to talk with a knife in his back.
What?
Particularly when he's dead.
Clark Kent and Batman circle the bound and gagged figure on the floor. In the light of a green-shaded desk lamp, they can see the curved bone handle of a hunting knife protruding from between Joe Hansen's shoulder blades. Evidently, someone else suspected Hansen was about to talk. Someone who had a great deal to hide. Now, what of Lois Lane accused of murder? How can she possibly establish an alibi? When one of his confidence gang, a girl named Dixie Lamar, shot and killed a federal agent, Dr. Bly, the cunning leader of the gang, abducted Lois Lane, who was almost a perfect double for Dixie. Late that night, dressed in Dixie's clothes and in a half-drugged condition, Lois was arrested in a low cafe on the waterfront and identified as the murderess. In her apartment, the police found the murder weapon and a key to a safe deposit box registered in the name of Dixie Lamar and containing $60,000 in cash. All the evidence pointed to Lois. For days, her friends on the Daily Planet, aided by the famous Batman and Robin, turned heaven and earth to find some clue to save the girl reporter, but in vain. Now, as we continue, it is the day on which Lois Lane goes on trial for her life. Dr. Bly, his jitterbug assistant Happy, and Dixie Lamar are waiting in a shabby tenement apartment. Listen.
You know, Doc, I was just thinking.
Happy, send that pop.
Are you kidding, Doc? That's Count Basic beating it out.
He's beating my eardrums off.
Now stop it.
Oh, that counts as solid sender, Doc, and that's what I need now to soothe me nerves, see? I'm jumping.
He's jumping. I'm the one in the middle, and he's jumping.
For the last time, Happy, turn off that yowling phonograph.
Okay.
That's better. Now, what were you saying, Dixie?
I wasn't saying. I was thinking. What if they don't send Lois Lane to the chair?
Don't worry, they will.
I wish I could be so sure.
Great, me too. If they smell wise she's the wrong Dilly, they'll ride the beam to Dixie here, and then where'll I be? And you too, Doc.
I tell you, there's nothing to worry about. They can't possibly prove Miss Lane isn't Dixie.
You hope.
I know.
Yeah? Supposing something happens to upset the wagon.
How many times must I tell you nothing can happen?
Look, Doc, supposing the law brings in somebody who knows it was you posing as Mr. Hemingway, the press agent, and tells how you got Miss Lane to play landing into the tunnel.
Ah, how about that, Doc?
Nobody knows about that except you two.
And Happy's brother-in-law, Joe Hansen. Suppose the cops bring Joe in and sweat him, and he goes yelling, spills the works.
That's impossible.
Why is it?
Because Joe is quite harmless at the moment.
What do you mean, quite harmless?
Yeah, give out, Doc.
Fortunately, I arranged to have Joe watched. And when I learned he'd made an appointment with Batman and Clark Kent, well, I managed to see Joe before they did.
You rubbed him out, huh?
If you wish to be that vulgar, yes.
Boy, now I feel better. Gee, I gotta hand it to you, Doc. You think of everything.
Yeah, man, a Doc's a real big-time operator.
Oh, thank you. So you see, Miss Lane hasn't a chance. She can't explain away the evidence we planted in her apartment. She can't produce Mr. Hemingway, whom she says framed her. Because there isn't any Mr. Hemingway. And she can't produce the only other person who knows the truth because that person, Joe Hansen, is dead.
And she looks so much like me, 3 of the witnesses who saw me shoot that federal cop swore she done it. Whee! It's in the bag. Happy, turn on that jive again, and I'll cut a caper with you. Boy, I gotta celebrate.
Okay, Doc. We'll show you some solid rhythm rocking.
All right. But only one dance. That jitterbug dancing is as bad as that so-called music.
Sure, just one caper, Doc. Hot! Dig that jive. Come on, Dixie, let's cut her up.
Yeah, man. Let's get in that old groove.
Gleefully, the 3 conspirators make merry over the plight of Lois Lane, who at this moment in the criminal court is on trial for her life. Deathly pale, Lois is seated at a table with her lawyer, listening to witness after witness brand her as the girl who shot the federal agent in the lobby of the Burton Arms Hotel. In the first row of the tense, crowded courtroom, a few feet behind Lois, sit Perry White, Clark Kent, and Jimmy Olsen. The 7th witness, the girl in charge of the cigar counter at the hotel, has just taken the oath and is stepping into the witness box.
Kent, if this witness says Lois did it, I don't know what I'll do.
Well, just don't lose your temper, Chief. The judge has already warned you.
Order! Order in the court! Proceed with your witness, Mr. Prosecutor.
Thank you, Your Honor. What is your name, please?
Lawrence Mitchell.
Where do you work, Miss Mitchell?
At the cigar stand in the lobby of the Burton Arms Hotel.
And how long have you worked there?
Oh, about 2 years.
Now, on the night of August 18th last, were you on duty at the cigar counter as usual?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what you saw about 10 o'clock that evening.
Yes, sir. I saw a girl get out of the elevator and walk across the lobby. She was wearing a red dress and a mink coat. And, well, she seemed in a big hurry. When she got almost in front of my stand, a man stopped her. I heard him say, Miss Dixie Lamar, I believe. Then, well, she quick opened her handbag, pulled out a gun, and shot him. Then she ran out of the lobby.
Order. Well, now, would you recognize this girl if you saw her again, Miss Mitchell?
Oh, yes, sir. Like I said, she was right in front of me.
I want you to look around this courtroom, Miss Mitchell, and tell me if you see that girl, Miss Dixie Lamar.
Kent, if she says it was Lois...
Quiet, Chief.
Well, Miss Mitchell, do you see her?
Yes, sir. There she is, sitting right at that table. That's not right. That's a lie.
You bet it's a lie. Now you listen to me, Judge, and you, young woman.
Chief, stop it. You'll only get thrown out.
Order! Order, I say, or I'll have the courtroom clear.
Chief, come on, please, sit down. You can't help Lois this way.
No. Does the attorney for the defense wish to cross-examine the witness?
No questions.
Go the next witness.
Sergeant Fred Haley, take the stand, please.
Who's this flatfoot?
Oh, it's Sergeant Haley. I think he's going to testify about what he found in Lois's apartment.
Oh, gosh, this is terrible.
You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, self regard? I do. Take the stand, please.
Mr. Kent, this is awful. If he says...
Take it easy, Jim. Take it easy.
Your name, please.
Sergeant Fred Haley of the Metropolis Police Department.
On the night of August 21st, Sergeant, you went to the apartment of Miss Lois Lane.
I did.
Tell us what you found there.
I found a gun.
.32 caliber revolver from which 2 shots have been fired.
I show you this revolver marked Exhibit B, and I ask you if this is the gun you found.
That's the one, all right.
Now, I wish to call the attention of the court and the jury to the fact that the fingerprints of the defendant, Miss Lane, were found on this weapon, and that it has been proven that 2 bullets from this gun killed Federal Agent John Stone. Order! Order!
How did that gun get in Miss Lane's apartment?
Somebody put it there, of course, to frame Lois. No, she's being crucified and we can't help her.
Golly.
Fire! Proceed, Mr. Prosecutor.
What else did you find in Miss Lane's apartment, Sergeant?
Well, I found some telegrams addressed to Dixie Lamar from Ace Scarlatti, the Chicago gangster who was shot last month. And I found a key to a safety deposit box in the South Street Bank, registered in the name of Dixie Lamar. There was $60,000 in cash in the box.
Leaning forward tensely, the crowded courtroom hears witness after witness give testimony damaging to Lois Lane. Testimony which draws her closer and closer into the shadow of the electric chair. On trial for her life, Lois Lane has heard the state present a score of witnesses to prove that she led a double life, that behind the front of a respectable newspaper reporter, she is really Dixie Lamar, member of a notorious confidence ring who shot and killed a federal agent. Now the crowded courtroom leans forward. Lois has come to the stand to testify in her own behalf. The prosecuting attorney turns on her like a wild beast.
May I ask who framed you, Miss Lamar? Pardon me, Miss Lane.
Listen to that nasty.
Quiet, Chief. A man named Mr. Hemingway, who said he was the press agent for the Playland amusement park.
That's right. It must have been him.
And who is this Mr. Hemingway, and where is he, Miss Lane?
I told you who he
You
is.
said he was the press agent at Playland.
Well,
But we have produced witnesses who have testified that Mr. Larry Spencer is the press agent at Playland.
Mr. Hemingway said that he was the press agent, and he got me to come there so that he could abduct me. I don't know where he is
And neither
now.
does anyone else know, Miss Lane. Nobody ever heard of Mr. Hemingway.
I did.
Young man, if you can't keep quiet, leave the courtroom.
Well, he said...
That'll do, Jim.
I suggest, Miss Lane, that this so-called Mr. Hemingway is a henchman of yours.
That's not true.
I suggest that you meant to make a getaway on the night you went to Playland, and that you deliberately arranged an alibi for yourself. That you brought Jim Olsen and Dick Grayson with you, permitting them to see your henchman Hemingway, so that they could swear, as they did, that you were abducted by a skeleton in the River of Horrors.
Oh, that's true. A skeleton did grab her.
But unfortunately for you, Miss Lane, you were caught before you could disappear with the $60,000 in your safe deposit box.
That isn't true. I wasn't trying to get away. I went to Playland because Mr. Hemingway said that I'd been chosen as the leading reporter in Metropolis, and they wanted me to be the guest of honor that night.
So that's it.
What, Mr. King?
But if such was the case, Miss Lane, how does it happen that you did not even mention this great honor to anyone?
I wanted to surprise my friends, particularly Clark Kent, when he read about it the next morning.
Great Scott. Come with me, Chief. You too, Jim.
Where are you going,
Kent? Outside. Come on.
But Miss Lane is on the stand.
Never mind that, Jim.
And I figured he
This
might
is
be
important.
jealous when he
Very
read the
important.
next morning
It
that I'd
may
been
mean
selected
Lois's
as the
life.
reporter instead of him. I took
Puzzled,
Olsen along
Perry
with
White
me.
and Jimmy Olsen follow Clark Kent from the courtroom as Lois tells her story to a sneering prosecutor and a clearly unbelieving jury. What has Kent thought of while Lois's life hangs in the balance? Lois Lane is on trial for her life, charged with having shot a federal agent. As we know, the real murderess is a girl named Dixie Lamar, who bears a striking resemblance to Lois. Taking advantage of this, Dr. Bly, the cunning leader of Dixie's gang, trapped Lois at an amusement park, planted the murder weapon and other damaging evidence in her apartment, and then he partially drugged Lois and dressed her in Dixie's clothes and saw to it that she fell into the hands of the police. While witness after witness identified Lois as Dixie Lamar at the trial, Clark Kent sat strangely aloof, seemingly not altogether convinced of the girl reporter's innocence. But suddenly, when Lois testified as to why she had gone to the amusement park, Kent leaped to his feet and rushed from the courtroom, telling Perry White and Jimmy Olsen to follow him. As we continue now, in the corridor outside the courtroom, White is demanding an explanation.
What's the idea of dragging us out here, Kent?
Yeah, Miss Lane is on the witness stand.
I know, Jim, but this is a matter of Lois's life. When she explained why she went to Playland, I realized that she's innocent.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I'd only been sure of it before.
Just a minute, Olsen. Kent, are you out of your mind?
Not at all, Chief. You see,
I see, all right. Because Lois made a couple of wisecracks before she went to the amusement park that night, you, who haven't any more sense of humor than a cigar store Indian, decided she was a gangster.
No, it
isn't. Oh, come on, Olsen, come on. Let's go back to the trial.
No, wait, Chief.
No, wait for what? Lois is being persecuted in there. Oh, I don't know what I can do, but maybe I can think of something.
Oh, you better think of something fast, Mr. White. Looks awful bad for Miss Lane.
I thought of something.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Miss Lane is guilty
Chief,
as...
what'd you close the door for, Kent? Now, step away. I want to go into the courtroom.
You've got to listen to me, Chief.
But the prosecuting attorney's addressing the jury.
Will you get away from that door, Kent?
Not until you've listened to me. There's only one way to save Lois.
Oh, sure. Convince the jury that the judge and prosecuting attorney are both empty-headed goofs. But I'll do it. I'll hire a new lawyer. I'll hire a whole battery of new lawyers.
That won't help, and you know it. It's too late. The case will go to the jury any minute now. Our only hope of saving Lois's life is to produce the real murderess, Lois Lane's double.
Huh?
Her what?
Her double. It's obvious that the real murderess, Dixie Lamar, must be a double for Lois in face and figure.
Why, her double? Why,
Good
why
Godfrey.
that?
Well, you must be right, Kent. Dixie Lamar must be a ringer for Lois. All those witnesses who swore they'd seen Lois shoot the federal agent actually saw Dixie.
It was Dixie and her gang who kidnapped Lois, then drugged her and dressed her in the same clothes Dixie wore on the night of the murder.
And planted the gun and the key to Dixie's safe deposit box in Miss Lane's apartment.
Correct, Jim. Now,
Kent,
what...
you've really got a hit on you. Now, come on. We'll go in there and tell them the truth.
No, wait,
Miss
Chief.
Lane admits you're
Come here.
losing $90 a week
Chief.
as a reporter for the
Let go my arm, Kent.
Come back here, will you?
Safety deposit box registered in the name of Dixie Lamar.
What's the matter with you, Kent? I've got to tell
What
them.
can you tell them?
The truth, of course. Let me in there.
They won't believe you, Chief. You know that. We've got to prove it.
Yes, of course. Oh, what's the matter with me? This thing has got me so unset. I mean, up-nerved. Oh, never mind. Kent, we've got to find Dixie Lamar at once.
I've got an idea. Jim, go into the courtroom and get Robin out here. He's sitting at the rear on the aisle.
Robin?
Dick Grayson.
Oh, what'd you call him Robin for?
Did I? Slip of the tongue. He's always talking about Batman, you know, and I don't know. I suppose I just sort of naturally called him Robin. Hurry now, will you, Jim?
Okay.
Miss Lane says a man named Hemingway lured her to Playland Amusement Park, where he ever...
Listen to that big mouth. What do you want young Grayson for, Kent?
I want him to get in touch with Batman. Batman stands in strong with the police department. Henderson will give him access to his files.
But how can Grayson find Wait a minute. The prosecuting attorney told the jury Dixie Lamar had never been caught before when he was trying to show them how clever Lois was. So there won't be a criminal file on her.
But there may be a file under another name.
What?
It's my hunch that Dixie Lamar is a phony name, Chief.
It does sound phony at that. You mean...
We know that Dixie Lamar looks like Lois. So if we go through the files and find a girl with another name who resembles Lois...
We'll have Dixie.
Right.
Kent, your mind is starting to tick now.
If only I'm right.
But the defense has been unable to produce this fictitious Mr. Hemingway.
Here's Dick, Mr. Kent.
And why? Because there is no such person, ladies
Gee,
and
it looks
gentlemen.
awful bad for us. That prosecuting attorney is tearing Miss Lane's story to pieces.
No.
Look, Dick, I want you to contact Batman at once. I think he can help us.
Okay, Mr. Kent.
Well, how is Dick gonna find Batman?
Huh?
That's
yeah.
what I was going to say, Mr. Kent.
That's right.
How do you expect me to contact Batman?
Well, you see, when I talked to him yesterday, Dick, he was still at Playland trying to pick up a clue to Hemingway. He's probably still there.
Playland closed last night for the season.
So what? Batman is probably still looking around there.
Oh, sure, he probably is. I'll try to find him, Mr. Kent.
Good. Have him call me at the Daily Planet, Dick.
Okay.
But what do you want Batman for?
Chief, you and I'll shoot back to the office and see if we can dig up Dixie in our clipping morgue.
In our clipping morgue?
Right. I'll tell Lois's lawyer to try to stall the proceedings as long as he can.
Oh, Jim can do that. You run out and find a taxi, Chief. I'll be right with you.
Okay.
What's going on, Mr. Kent?
No time to answer questions, Jim. Just listen and get this. Tell Lois's lawyer that we're on the trail of something and to keep the case from going to the jury just as long as he can. You got that?
Well, sure,
Don't
but...
interrupt now. Every second counts. You stay here at the trial, but slip out every 15 minutes or so and phone me at the Planet, right?
I'll check. But I wish you'd tell me
Later.
what's...
Get back to the courtroom now and see Lois's lawyer.
Okay.
And keep your fingers crossed.
Rushing from the courthouse as the prosecuting attorney concludes his final summation to the jury with a demand that Lois be found guilty, Kent and Perry White leap into a taxi and speed to the Daily Planet. There, White assigns almost his entire staff to search through the back files of the paper, seeking the picture of a girl who resembles Lois Lane. While in an anteroom, the gray-haired editor and Kent likewise leaf through old copies of the Planet.
No luck yet, Kent. I'm getting dizzy.
Well, keep going, Chief. This is our only chance.
I know. No, Kent, when I think of poor Lois, the finest girl I've ever known, being persecuted for a crime she didn't commit,
I know, Chief, I know. But they haven't convicted her yet, and, well, while there's life, there's hope.
I can't stand it, I tell you. What's the matter with Olson? Why doesn't he keep us posted?
Well, he called just a few minutes ago. He said Lois's lawyer had made a strong appeal for a delay, saying he'd heard about some possible new evidence, but the judge refused.
Oh, Lord. Well, what about Batman? Why don't we hear from him?
He's at police headquarters now, going through the files. Said he'd call the moment he found anything. If he finds anything.
If. I tell you, I can't stand this uncertainty, Kent. My heart will give out and I... Oh, the phone. Maybe that's Olson. Or Batman. Here,
I've got it. Hello? Oh, yes, Jim. What?
Jim, what's he say?
Wait a minute, please, Chief. I can't hear. Go on, Jim. Yes? Yes? Oh, yes.
What, Kent? What?
All right, call us as soon as he's finished. Right.
Well?
That's a good, Chief. The judge ordered Lois's attorney to quit stalling and deliver his final speech to the jury.
Uh-oh. And we're done for. And as soon as the prosecution finishes, the jury goes to the case. Oh, we're no closer to Dixie Lamar than we were an hour ago.
We're not licked yet. Come on, Chief. Go through these papers with me. The real Dixie Lamar, or whatever her name is alive. And we've got to find her.
Frantically, Clark, Kent, and Perry White turn over page after page, searching for a picture of the murderess who resembles Lois Lane as the precious moments rush away as if on wings. As Clark, Kent, Perry White, almost the entire Daily Planet staff, and Batman search frantically for a clue to the murderess for whose crime Lois Lane is now on trial, the sensational case is drawing to a close. In the tense, crowded courtroom, Jimmy Olsen sits, knotting his hands in agony, his frightened gaze shifting from the white-faced Lois at her counsel's table to the black-robed judge on the bench, who is solemnly instructing the 12 men and women in the jury box.
You have heard the evidence. It is for you now to consider and weigh that evidence carefully.
Oh, gosh, I can't stand
You
it.
must decide beyond a reasonable doubt whether the defendant, Lois Lane, did truly masquerade as one Dixie Lamar, and in that identity did shoot to death John Stone, federal agent.
She didn't.
Or whether the defendant told the truth when she testified that a web of circumstantial evidence had been woven about her by persons unknown.
Oh, of course she told the truth. She was framed.
I have interpreted the evidence to the best of my ability. You will remember that the life of a human being is in your hands, and you will weigh all admissible evidence to the best of your ability and in the light of your conscience. The jury will now retire.
There they go. And when they come back...
Yes, Jim, when the jury returns, they will bring with them life or death for Lois Lane. Which will it be? Apparently, our friends have failed in their last-minute attempt to find the real murderess. And so now, Lois's fate rests with 12 strange men and women, a jury of her peers. To save the skin of a girl named Dixie Lamar, who had shot and killed a federal agent, Dr. Bly, the cunning leader of Dixie's confidence gang, planted the murder weapon and other damaging evidence in the apartment of Lois Lane, who bears a striking, almost twin-like resemblance to the girl gangster. Arrested and brought to trial, Lois heard witness after witness identify her as Dixie Lamar, the murderess. Realizing that Dixie must be a double for Lois, Clark Kent enlisted editor Perry White and the famous Batman in a desperate search for the girl. But as the case went to the jury, they were still unsuccessful. As we continue now, Kent and White have hurried to the courtroom to wait with Lois for the jury to come in with a verdict. Behind them, the crowd of spectators and newspaper reporters buzz excitedly, their eyes fixed on the closed and locked door of the jury room. Listen.
Oh, why don't they come out? What's taking them so long? Why don't
For heaven's sake, sit down, Chief.
Sit down. How can I sit down with the jury in there weighing Lois's life, deciding whether to...
Chief!
Please, Mr. White, let's not talk about it.
Oh, Lois, I didn't mean to frighten you. The jury's sure to find you not guilty. Right, Kent?
Oh, sure.
I wish I could believe that.
No, there's nothing to it. It's in the bag. What's keeping that confounded jury?
Relax, Chief. They're deliberating.
What is there to deliberate about? Anyone in his right mind knows Lois was framed. You only have to look at it and know she couldn't be a gangster or shoot anyone.
The prosecuting attorney doesn't agree with you, Chief. And I don't think the judge does either.
The prosecuting attorney. The judge. Ah! I'll tear 'em that brain-daddled, painted fuddy-duddies. I'll teach them a thing or two. I'll conduct a campaign in the planet. I'll run 'em out of town. I'll have 'em impeached.
Now, be careful, Chief. Remember, you've already been threatened with contempt of court.
I'll contempt him. Let him try to put me in jail. Just let him try. Why, when I get through with him,
This show you're putting on isn't making it any easier for Lois, you know.
I'm all right, Clark.
I know, of course she's all right. And so am I. I'm as cool as a cubicle. I mean the crucible. Oh, hang it, a cucumber.
Where is that jury?
They're still out, Mr. White.
No, that's big news. Where have you been, Olson?
I was talking to the reporters. They say the longer the jury stays out, the better it is for Miss Lane.
Better?
Uh-huh. See, everybody was sure they'd vote guilty on the first ballot.
Oh.
But they've been out almost a whole hour now. That means at least one of them doesn't think you're guilty. And if he holds out, it'll be what you call a hung jury. And you'll get a new trial.
That is what we need. A new trial.
Why? I can't tell them any more in another trial than I did in this one. But nobody believed me. I could see they didn't.
Steady, Lois. If we get a new trial, it'll give us time to find the real Dixie Lamar.
Yes, or Dr. Bly, or that jitterbug gangster you told us about, Lois. What was his name?
Happy.
Yes. Well, if I could just get my hands on him, I'd change his name to Weeping Willie.
But you haven't been able to find him, or Dr. Bly, or Dixie Lamar, or Mr. Hemingway. Oh, it all seems so crazy. Like a terrible nightmare.
Easy now, Lois.
Oh, gosh, Miss Lane, don't cry. It's gonna be all right.
Yes, of course it is. Kent, why haven't we heard from that man? He should have found that Dixie devil by now.
Well, evidently he hasn't, Chief, or we'd have heard from him.
Then he's another false alarm.
No, he's not.
Like you and everybody else. Oh, what's keeping that jury? Why don't they come out and say Lois is innocent?
This waiting is driving me nuts.
Driving you nuts? Well, how about me? I'm not as young as I used to be, and my heart won't stand it. Beating like a trip hammer now. It's sure to stop, and I...
Look, the jury door's open.
Yes.
Oh, Clark.
Steady, Lois, steady.
Well, just one man came out.
That's the bailiff. The jury must want the judge's advice on some of the evidence. See, he's going into the judge's chambers.
No, we've got to wait some more. Where's that fellow Fletcher? What am I paying him a big lawyer's fee for? Doesn't he... Why doesn't he do something?
Don't blame him, Chief. I'm sure he did all he could.
Of course he did. You can't expect miracles.
I'm not asking for miracles. All I want is justice. Lois, a murderess. Of all the... No, here you are, Fletcher.
Hello, Mr. Fletcher.
Well, how's it look, huh? Well, say something.
There's no more I can say, Mr. White. It's in the hands of the jury now. All we can do is wait and hope.
Wait. What do you think I'm made of, iron?
Oh, for Pete's sake, relax, will you, Chief? We're all in the same boat.
Relax. That's your trouble, Kent. You relax too much.
Oh.
If you'd stirred your stumps when this started instead of mooning around thinking Lois was guilty...
Now, please, let's not go into that
I
again.
will go into it. Fancy yourself a great detective. Why couldn't you find witnesses to prove Lois told the truth when she said she was home asleep the night of the murder?
Well, how could I? You and Jim and I were in Maine that night. And how could I prove Lois didn't slip out of her apartment and go down the back service stairs as the prosecution implied she did?
Well, no, I don't know how, but...
What's the matter?
Bailiff
Mr.
is
Fletcher?
going back to the jury room.
Oh, is that bad?
Well, while he was consulting the judge, the jury was delayed, but now they'll get back to work on the verdict.
Oh, dear,
Steady, Lois, steady. Now, you've been pretty brave through all this.
I can't stand any more waiting. I can't stand it, I tell you. I am a nervous wreck. My heart will give out.
In fearful suspense, our friends wait, their eyes moving again and again to the closed jury room door, behind which 12 men and women are deciding Lois's fate. The seconds go by as on leaden feet, each one seeming to question life or death for Lois Lane. Life or death. Meanwhile, in a room lined with steel filing cabinets at Metropolis Police Headquarters, Batman sits at a table strewn with police photographs and clippings as Robin enters.
Inspector Henderson says the jury's still out, Batman, but he's sure they'll convict Miss Lane.
Well, never mind what he thinks, Robin. Until the jury brings in a verdict of guilty, we've got a chance to save her.
What chance? Joe Hanson is dead. Dr. Bly and Happy and Hemingway have vanished. And we've been all through these police files, and there isn't any record of a girl named Dixie Lamar.
Yes, I know.
And we've wired the police chiefs of every big city, and they haven't any record of her either.
Well, I'm surer than ever now that Clark Kent's hunch is right, that Dixie Lamar's a phony name. Oh, if we could just find that police file on a girl who looks like Lois Lane, chances are we'd have Dixie.
Check, but we haven't been able to. And Mr. Kent and Mr. White went through the back numbers of the Daily Planet for 5 years. They couldn't find a picture of a girl crook who looked like Miss Lane either.
Well, there must be something. Some angle we haven't thought of.
No, I'm listening. Want me to help you pace the floor?
Oh, I'm just going to open a window, get a little fresh air. Might sweep the cobwebs out of my head.
Lois Lane jury still out. Daily Planet reporter awaiting verdict. Read all about
Close the window, will you? I don't want to hear newsboy.
Oh, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Robin, I just thought of something.
Is that good?
It's plenty good. Come on, Robin, on the double.
Followed by Robin, Batman rushes from the file room at police headquarters. What suddenly occurred to him? Suddenly struck with an idea that might help save the life of Lois Lane, Batman led Robin to the juvenile court near police headquarters. There, after speaking to the chief clerk, he was shown to a room lined with steel files. Now he and Robin have been examining those files while typewriters tapped nearby.
That was an inspiration, Batman, going through the juvenile records for a girl who looks like Miss Lane. Only
what, Robin?
Only we haven't found her.
I'll keep looking. Chances are that a girl stupid enough to shoot a federal agent in a hotel lobby must have some police record.
You can't tell. Everything is wacky in this case. Press agent named Hemingway just vanishes. Ditto Dr. Bly. Ditto Dixie Lamar. Ditto my mind and reason.
Not your tongue. Let's have less conversation and more action, Robin.
Just show me a chance to go into action and you'll make me happy. It's this not getting anywhere that gets me down. Gee, poor Miss Lane.
Wait a minute, Robin.
Now what?
Look at this card. Here, now tell me what you see.
Christopher Columbus. It's Miss Lane.
You mean it's a dead ringer for Miss Lane?
Yeah, sure. Of course, that's what I mean. What does it say on the card?
Let's see. Dorothy Zelinka.
Yeah?
Convicted of shoplifting, sentenced to Metropolis Reformatory, February 3rd, 1940. Released August 3rd, 1940. Come on, Robin, let's go.
Hold everything. That was 5 years ago. How are we going to find her now?
Well, we might get a lead through the reformatory. It's right near here.
A lead isn't enough. We've got to get the girl before that jury brings in its verdict. And they'll do that any minute
Well, that means we've got to work fast. Come on, fellow, we're underway at last.
Dorothy Zelinka, released from the reformatory 5 years ago. Is Dorothy Zelinka Dixie Lamar? And if so, will Batman and Robin be able to find her? Only minutes remain.
Because Lois Lane is an almost perfect double for a girl known as Dixie Lamar, wanted for murder, Dr. Bly, the leader of Dixie's confidence gang, planted evidence in Lois's apartment which made it appear that she was Dixie. Arrested and brought to trial, Lois is now waiting for the jury to bring in its verdict, which almost everyone believes will send the innocent girl reporter to the electric chair. Guessing the truth, Clark Kent asked Batman to help him find the real murderess. With Robin, his young companion, Batman was searching old juvenile court records when he came across the photograph of a girl named Dorothy Zelinka, who bore a striking resemblance to Lois. Believing that Dorothy Zelinka might be Dixie Lamar, Batman and Robin hurried to the reformatory, where we join them now in the office of Mrs. Taylor, the matron. Listen.
You say you remember this girl, Mrs. Taylor?
Yes, quite well. She served a term here several years ago. Her name at that time was Dorothy Zelinka.
We think she's Dixie Lamar now.
I beg your pardon?
Dixie
No time to go into that now, Robin. Could you possibly tell us where Dorothy Zelinka can be reached, Mrs. Taylor?
Oh, I'm afraid I can't.
Uh-oh.
It's been 5 years since we released her. She reported to the parole officer for a year following her release, but then we lost contact with her.
Well, don't you have any address for her?
Only the one she gave when she was arrested.
Well, may we have it, please, Mrs. Taylor?
I'll get the file. It's right here.
Well, thank you.
We haven't time for any Sherlock Holmes stuff now, Batman. Jury will be bringing in its verdict any minute. For all we know, they've already brought it in.
Well, keep your fingers crossed and your shirt on.
Oh, are you kidding? When I think of poor Miss Lane and Jim Olsen and Mr. Kent sweating it out...
Here we are. Dorothy Zelinka, 229 West Street.
West Street? That's in the tenement district.
That's right. Let's get going, Robin.
I'm practically there.
Well, thanks a lot, Mrs. Taylor.
Make that for two.
Oh, you're very welcome, but I doubt if the address will help you. Our welfare workers reported that Dorothy never went back there.
Well, at least I...
What's that?
Hey, you have got the jitters, Robin. Those are just the noon whistles. Oh, come on. Goodbye, Mrs. Taylor.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Hurrying from the reformatory, Batman and Robin leap into their Batmobile and drive a short distance to a shabby tenement district near the river. Stopping before 229 West Street, a dingy 5-story building with rusty fire escapes sagging below broken windows, they swiftly assume their garb of Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson and climb 5 flights of uncarpeted stairs to an ill-smelling, dimly lit hallway.
Lovely odors, eh, what? Aren't you glad you're not hungry?
Never mind the gags. Now, let's see. 6A on this side. 6B over here. Okay, here's hoping.
You're hoping for a bell. There isn't any.
Well, hands were invented before bells. Go on, Robin. Rap on the door.
Check. Wouldn't it be nice if Dixie alias Dorothy opened the door herself?
You still believe in Santa Claus, don't you?
I can dream, can't I?
Quiet. Somebody's coming.
Yeah, what you want?
Oh, pardon me, madam, but
What you want?
I'm sorry to trouble you, but we're looking for a young lady who used to live here.
Nobody live here but me.
Oh, I understand, but this young lady used to live here, and it's very important that we get in touch with her. Her name is Dorothy Zelinka.
Dorothy? You want Dorothy?
Yes, we'd
Do
like...
you know her?
What you want with Dorothy?
She...
Hold it, Dick. Why, it's a matter of great importance, Mrs. I'm sorry I didn't get your name.
What you want Dorothy for? You cops, no?
No, we're not.
No, of course we're not. We're friends of a mutual friend, you might say.
You sure might.
I no understand. I don't know where Dorothy is. Don't know, don't care. Maybe she be dead, maybe not. Don't matter.
It matters a lot to someone we know.
Dick, look here, Mrs.
My name be Zelinka.
Zelinka?
I no hurt nobody, no get in trouble.
Are you Dorothy Zelinka's mother?
Yeah, but Dorothy no good. Go to reform school, always trouble.
Well, where is she now, Mrs. Zelinka?
I don't know. She no come back from reform school. Maybe better that way.
Haven't you any idea where she is?
No, I don't know, and I don't care. You go look for her. Maybe you find her, maybe not. Goodbye.
Oh, just a minute.
Well, that's that.
Not by a long shot. Quick, off of the clothes. Now, maybe a little job here for Batman and Robin.
Huh?
Come on, Robin. Strip down to your costume.
Okay. But would you mind elucidating?
What's the matter with your ears today? Didn't you hear that hot music when the door opened?
So what? Mrs. Z must have fallen asleep with the radio on. Or maybe she likes Boogie Woogie.
Maybe. But then who turned it off?
Off?
Right. And while she was talking to us. And she said that...
She said she was all alone. Hey, maybe we've got something here.
Something or somebody. I also caught a glimpse of a couple of suitcases, 2 very fancy pigskin jobs in the room next to the hall.
Better and better. What would Mrs. Z be doing with pigskin suitcases?
You can have the first guess. Ready?
Ready. What do we do, bang on the door again and swarm ashore when it opens?
Maybe walk into a load of artillery. Don't be silly. Follow me. And don't sound like the Marine.
I'm a mouse. What's our objective?
That door down the line there. There are 2 apartments to a floor, so that must be the back door to Mrs. Zelinka's dirty little nest.
Boy, oh boy, if only Dorothy Zelinka alias Dixie Lamar's in that nest.
Oh, we'll find out. Hold it.
I don't hear anything.
Neither do I. Well, I'll just open it.
Looking for somebody, boys?
A guy with a gun. Look out, Batman.
I see him.
Hey, Doc, get a load of this.
Yeah, that'll hold him.
Robin, get them, boys.
I got you first, chum.
Nice work, Robin. It's Dr. Bly. Oh, here come a dozen gorillas, and they've all got guns. We need reinforcements. This way.
Hey, you're running away from the stairs.
There'll be clay pigeons on the stairs, Robin. Up that ladder to the roof. Come on, hurry.
The trap door better be open. Oh, the sweet music of flying legs.
Come on, get that trap door open.
I'm trying to. But it's stuck.
Here, swing over. I'll open it. There.
Okay, that did it. Up we go. I'm up. Come on, Batman. You'll comb your hair later.
Okay. Help me slam this trapdoor shut, Robin.
Right.
There we go.
There. Now, let's get going. What's the matter, Batman? Why did you get up?
I've got a bullet in my leg.
Oh. Here come our friends. Now what do we do?
Dismayed, young Robin looks down at the wounded Batman sprawled across the trapdoor above Dr. Bly and his gunmen. Heavily outnumbered by Dr. Bly and his gang, Batman and Robin rushed up a ladder to the tenement roof. On the way, Batman was shot in the leg, and he now sprawls across the trapdoor beneath which Dr. Bly's men are gathered.
Look, Robin, leave me here.
Leave you here? Are you crazy?
You've got to. Dixie Lamar's in that apartment. You've got to get help.
We'll both get help. Come on, I'll help you.
No, now listen to me. I can't move my right leg. But I can hold off Bly's gang while you get to the courtroom. Tell them that we found Dixie and send help.
You won't get off the trapdoor, huh? Okay, then.
Come on, get away from the trapdoor. They're going to shoot through it.
Okay. Go ahead, blaze away, chums. But the first man who comes up here gets it. That'll hold him. Now go on, get going, Robin.
I can't leave you, Batman. You can't stand off the whole gang.
Only one man can come through that trapdoor at a time. It's a bottleneck.
Then they'll get up here some other way. Listen.
No, you listen to me and don't argue. You've got to get to the courtroom, tell Kent we found Dixie Lamar. You've got to. Look, there's a rain spout goes down the side of the building there, into the court. You can get down that way. Go on, Robin, hurry, hurry.
Okay, I'll be back with the Marines. Good luck.
Same to you.
Undecided, Robin looks back once more at Batman, then leaps to the rain spout and slides swiftly down, hand over hand. At the bottom, in the small courtway hemmed in by 4 brick walls, the youngster in mask and cape drops to the ground, turns about, and...
What?
Well. Fancy meeting you here, Robin. Just put up your hands, please.
Dr. Bly.
Very bright of you and Batman to trace us here. Very bright indeed. Isn't it too bad that you have to die now, before you could save Miss Lane from the electric chair?
His mind racing furiously, Robin faces the gun in Dr. Bly's hand and the evil gleam in the man's cold, mocking eyes, and sees no way out for himself, for the wounded Batman on the roof, or for Lois Lane, who, at this very moment in the tense, crowded courtroom, seated beside Clark Kent, Perry White, and Jimmy Olsen, gasps as she watches the door of the jury room open and sees the 12 solemn-faced men and women file toward their box. Fearfully, Lois grasps Kent's hand, dimly hears him say,
"Steady, Lois. Steady."
Only one glance at the 12 solemn faces of the jury is needed to guess their verdict. And even Clark Kent, who is Superman, pales. Now everything depends on Robin and Batman. What will happen to them? Lois Lane is on trial for her life, accused of murder while leading a double life as a gangster girl named Dixie Lamar. Reasoning that Dr. Bly, the leader of a confidence gang, had planted the murder weapon and other damaging evidence in Lois's apartment because Lois bore a striking resemblance to the real Dixie Lamar, Clark Kent enlisted the aid of Batman and Robin. As the jury was weighing Lois's fate, Batman and Robin traced the real Dixie to a Metropolis tenement house, where they encountered Dr. Bly and a dozen members of his gang. Escaping to the roof, Batman was shot in the leg and insisted that Robin leave him and carry the news to Kent. Sliding down a rain spot on the side of the building, the youngster in mask and cape landed in a small courtyard, hemmed in by 4 walls, where he found Dr. Bly waiting with a gun.
Dr. Bly?
Yes, indeed, in person. Very clever of you and Batman to trace Dixie Lamar to this tenement. What a pity that neither of you will be able to use what you have learned to save Lois Lane's life.
Now, wait a minute.
I'm afraid I can't spare a minute, Robin. My men are climbing the fire escape to the roof to take care of Batman. Once I dispose of you, I shall have to leave rather quickly.
That's what you think.
So goodbye, Rob.
How'd you like that flying tackle, Doctor? Sorry I can't stick around to play some more, but that open window beckons. So long.
Come back here. You can't get away.
Whoa, that shot caught in my hair. Now, to get out of this basement. Oh, wrong turn. There's the door ahead.
I've got you, Robin.
That was close, chum, but close only counts in horseshoes. Only this door isn't locked. It's unlocked. Any luck I could kiss you. Christopher Columbus, another courtyard. But no basement windows in this one. Oh, I'll have to go up that fire escape. Come on, feet. The good doctor will be with us shortly. Uh-oh, here he comes. I've got to make that roof.
I've got you now, Robin.
Close again, Doctor. Phew, that was a narrow squeak. 6 feet to the next roof. Well, let's make like a bird, Robin. 1, 2, go.
You can't get away, you young fool.
Put that in writing. I'll have my secretary attend to it. Uh-oh. That next roof is a story higher than this one. Come on, rope. Lasso that chimney. We've got places to go.
Now I've got you.
Up the rope we go. You repeat yourself, Dr. Bly.
Say your prayers, Robin.
I'm almost there. Missed again, pal.
I won't miss this time.
Oh, Christopher, he nicked my knee. Oh, it hurts like blazes. Gotta keep moving, though. Batman said carry the mail to Mr. Kent. That's what I gotta do. Way over there, I can see the flagpole on the courthouse. I wonder if Dr. Bly thinks he got me. He's certain to come up and make sure. Oh, can I make the jump to the next roof? I have to. Come on.
Limping, his cape torn and his hands bleeding, Robin twists and runs and leaps from roof to roof, pursued by Dr. Bly. Meanwhile, in the courtroom where Lois Lane is on trial for her life, the jury has reached a verdict and returned to their box. In the front of the court, supported by Clark Kent and Perry White, Lois has risen to her feet, her face chalk white. John Fletcher, her attorney, stands nearby. Jimmy Olsen, unable to bear the strain, has retired to a seat. Minutes pass, and the crowd of spectators lean forward tensely, waiting for the judge to return to the bench from his chambers.
I can tell by their faces, Clark. They've decided that I'm guilty.
Maybe not, Lois.
Oh, they have. I'm sure of it. I can
Take
just...
it easy, Lois. Take it easy. Hope for the best.
Here comes the judge now.
Oh, dear.
The bailiff strikes the gavel for order, and the spectators quiet to a hush as the dignified black-robed judge emerges at last from his chambers and mounts the bench.
Clark.
Steady, Lois.
The tension is electric. The great crowd hardly dares to breathe as the judge faces the standing jurors and addresses their foreman, a thick, gray-haired man wearing glasses.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
What is the verdict?
We, the jury, find Find the defendant, Lois Lane, alias Dixie Lamar.
Wait! Hold everything. Where's Mr. Kent?
Great
Mr.
Scott!
Kent?
It's Robin!
Who's this?
Quick!
What's he saying?
Robin, what happened? You're hurt.
Order in the Dr. Bly just nicked me.
Dr. Bly?
Yes, he was chasing me. He almost had me, but he fell off a high roof. I think he was killed.
What?
Judge, you'd better hear this.
Order!
Listen, Mr.
Order
Kent.
in this
Batman and I found Dixie Lamar.
You found Dixie
did?
Lamar?
Where?
In a tenement. 229 West Street.
229 West Street?
Yes. Hurry, Batman's on the roof. Wounded.
Okay, Robin.
Kent, where are you going? Fletcher, stop the trial. Talk to the judge.
The judge's chambers will do. Oh, out of these clothes fast. Robin said Dixie Lamar was at 229 West Street, and Batman's in trouble. This is a job for Superman. There we are. All set. Up with this window. Out and away!
Leaping from the courthouse, red cape streaming, Superman streaks over the very roofs young Robin crossed on his wild flight from Dr. Bly. In a matter of seconds, the Man of Steel is above the tenement district, searching out 229 West Street, and the roof on which the wounded Batman, crouched behind a chimney, is tearing bricks from the chimney and heaving them at the half-dozen men who approach him across the roof, their guns blazing.
There he is. Down to that roof. Down! Okay, Batman. You can relax now. You and Robin did a swell job. I'll just mop up for you.
Well, Superman. Why, all that's holy.
Okay. So, you boys are Dr. Bly's little playmates, huh? Oh, here's my calling card, mister. There. And here's one for you. And you. There. Oh, don't go away, redhead. I've got a ticket for you, too. Here you are. And here's one for you, my husky friend. Ah, just two of you left, eh? Now let's try the old 1-2 punch again, like this. There. I think that takes care of the lot.
Well, you're not kidding, Superman. When you smack them, they stay smacked. You didn't come a minute too soon. I was running out of bricks.
That's all. How's your leg?
Oh, just a little lead in it, that's all.
Uh-oh.
Oh, but look, I saw Dixie Lamar run out here a moment ago.
What? Which way did she go?
Straight up the street. Here, you can see her from here.
I want a judge and jury to see her. Can you watch these gorillas until the police get here?
Oh, that won't be hard. They look like they'll be asleep a long while.
Okay, then I'll be seeing you. Thanks a million, Batman. Up and away!
Streaking off the roof, Superman spots Dixie Lamar running up the street carrying a suitcase. Like an avenging eagle, the Man of Steel swoops down, snatches the murderess who had plotted to have the innocent Lois Lane pay for her crime, and bare moments later carries her into the courtroom and sets her down beside Lois. A gasp rises from the crowd as Superman steps up to the bench.
Judge, I'd like you to meet Dixie Lamar.
Leave me alone.
She looks exactly like Lois.
Why, she does. That guy flies. He flies, I tell you.
Had a boy, Superman.
Good heavens, speak up, young woman. Are you Dixie Lamar?
Who, me? No,
Want to take another ride in the sky, Dixie?
No, stay away from me.
All right, then tell the truth, and fast.
Her real name is Dorothy Zelinka. She shot the FBI man.
Is that right, young woman?
No.
All right, Dixie, or Dorothy, or whatever your name is. We'll take another ride.
No, don't touch me.
Sorry?
Okay, I did it. I killed him. I'm Dixie Lamar.
What? You hear that, Miss Lane? She's Dixie Lamar.
You're free, Lois. You're free.
Jubilantly, Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, employees of the Daily Planet, and spectators crowd around Lois, congratulating her on her complete vindication as Superman and Robin slip from the courtroom. But unknown to any of them, the high spirits they are in are doomed to be short-lived. Within a few hours, the most stupendous thing that has ever happened to Superman is going to break. Perry White and Clark Kent are seated in the editor's office some hours following the dismissal of the murder charge against Lois Lane. The latest edition of the Daily Planet has just come up from the press room, and Perry White is gloating over it.
Not bad, Kent. Not bad at all. We didn't get an exclusive story, of course, but every newspaper in the city had 5 men in that courtroom. But what we have got is a byline story by Lois herself. Oh, will this sell the papers? Here, take a look at it.
Okay, thanks. How it feels to be charged with murder by Lois Lane. Who wrote that head?
Well, I did. Who do you think? What's the matter with it?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all, Chief. Now, let's see. Any other news on the front page?
Well, Kent, what's the matter?
No.
Kent, what is it? Why, you're white as a sheet. Kent, what's the matter, Kent? What is it?
Slumped in his chair, with the color draining from his cheeks, Clark Kent stares at the front page of the newspaper as though he were looking at a ghost. And well he should, for what he has seen may mean the end of Superman. Fellows and girls, no matter what happens, Don't miss Monday's super exciting episode. At last, Superman has met his match, something that may wipe him out forever. We can't tell you what it is now, but be sure to listen Monday and tell all your friends to listen, as Superman begins his fight not for the lives of others, but for his own life. Nothing like this has ever happened before. So tune in Monday for the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.